The intention of justice is to see that the guilty people are proven guilty and that the innocent are freed. Only we have a problem here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are taking a look at this case from a psychological perspective.
This is the letter that Tim received. So Tim was being sarcastic when he's like, don't follow him. He's being like, do it, because I'm going to follow him now, you know? Dear Mr. Poole, we write on behalf of our clients, Jen McCabe, Brian Albert, Colin Albert, and Brian Higgins.
Live from Plymouth, Massachusetts, it's the first hearing in the defamation, more like defecation, case against Karen Reed and Aidan Carney. It was a star-studded event. Let's take a look at Celebrity Row. We have the pizza guy, the busted knuckles guy, 227 lady, 227 lady's goofy husband, butt dial Bry, and I don't recognize that guy at the end. Let me know in the comments who that is. We start off with a shocker. Attorney Mark Betterow is actually admitted pro hoc vice without issue.
So I don't want to say too much about specifics. Generally, welcome to the litigation. It takes forever. Stuff goes back and forth. Everybody wants to depose everyone. And that's not unique to what you're talking about. A lot of people made a lot of hay about, oh my God, they're sitting there in the audience and other people from the other side were not there and all of this.
During the course of the core of the conspiracy, the defamation that we've alleged in there. But there's nothing to complain, as far as I recall, so, okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. The conspiracy between Aidan and Karen to defame those poor little defendants. You can't make this stuff up. This is the stuff of fairy tales, folks.
And once again, don't get your legal analysis from Twitter, people. It's very common. In fact, it's almost always the case in civil cases, certainly regular status conferences where parties do not show up. They have a right to show up. And I mean, you've seen Karen do that pretty frequently in her cases, but not this time.
He'd leave the bar that night with a cocktail glass. He brought it in my car.
Who are the plaintiffs in a lawsuit currently pending in Plymouth County Superior Court. We understand that you have scheduled Aidan Carney, also known as Turtle Boy, as a guest on Timcast IRL on or about May 29th, 2026. We write to bring to your attention information that we believe is material to that decision and to the legal exposure that you, Timcast Media Group, may face as a result. They're threatened. That's a threat, folks. If you exercise your First Amendment rights to platform and associate with anyone you want to do that with, then we're going to try to hurt you. You are, of course, free to host guests of your choosing. Our purpose is straightforward: to ensure that you and your counsel are fully informed of the facts before tomorrow's broadcast. So let's see what facts they mention.
You were asked who was in the house and who you saw come into the house, correct?
Yes.
And during the course of that testimony, you admitted that you observed a tall, dark-haired male enter the Albert house that night, correct?
I believe that was in reference to ask to somebody's brother in a pickup.
So it appears that Brian Higgins told the federal grand jury that he did see a tall man with dark hair walk into the house.
Our clients are private individuals. They're not, though.
Oh, here they are. Here's the truth. We got the McCabe's. We got Brian Albert, Brian Higgins. We got Colin. Oh boy, they're all there. They've gotten older. Is it just me, or does it look like they've aged 10 years in the last year? Is it just me?
It's not a genuine dash cam recording.
He has to buy that. So, he has to buy that. So.
And showing solidarity, you can see them there. It's about getting justice for John O'Keefe.
There clearly is an issue of integrity.
How dare they?
Anyone could file a lawsuit.
Justice for all. Only we have a problem here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday nooner, everybody. Yay, it's another Monday Nooner. I feel like I missed you guys. We skipped last week. We had a holiday in Memorial Day. And so it's been a while. Let me bring on my co-host here, Vince. Where are you? There he is. Hello.
2 weeks. I'm all pent up.
I know, right? So much has happened. It's been an eventful couple of weeks. How are you?
Good. I'm not sure I can last longer than my usual minute.
Well, we hope. Let's hope for today's sake that you can.
Wow. So there's so much going on in this world, and we try and stick to Karen Reed, obviously. And we not only had all of them appearing, which was surreal to see the McCabe's, Alberts, and Brian Patrick Higgins sitting on the same bench. Just that visual was surreal. What was your first impression when you saw it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I felt the same way everybody did. Just like, oh, okay, this is really happening. All right, we're really doing this. So that was my first thought. And then, of course, they do look older and different. I didn't recognize Colin because the first thing I saw wasn't the video. It was an image. And it was just an odd, sort of, I don't know, side view. I was like, is that Colin? I figured, of course, because Chris was there, context clues, of course it was him, but it was just strange. Of course, Brian Albert looks like he's aged 10 years. They've obviously lost weight. I have a theory about how or why I think Brian Higgins has lost so much weight. What did you think about seeing him? I mean, he's not Higgy Bear anymore.
I know. Some people were giving me different names. I got Higgy Smalls. I got Higgy Bean.
I like Higgy
String
Smalls.
Bean. Higgy Smalls I like the best. But you never know why someone is losing weight. Obviously, we all want to say it's because of the guilt and it's eating him out and it's hard for him to eat because of that guilt. You don't necessarily know. Obviously, it's an indicator of something going on in one's life when they're losing significant amount of weight. I always say that if you're over 40, married, losing a lot of weight, and at a gym, the gym is the biggest part. You're having an affair or you really want to have an affair. Like, that's my golden rule.
Well, he's not married, so there's that. But actually, I think it's maybe because he stopped drinking. That would be my theory. I don't necessarily think it's because of the anxiety. My guess is that he's curbed his alcohol consumption, or curbed it would be a better way to say. I don't know if he stopped altogether, but because that'll drop some weight pretty fast also.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of my friends that try and lose weight but still want to drink switch to hard alcohol because it has less calories. It's always a funny math. Whatever we do, we don't want to stop the drinking. Like, we'll give up calories somewhere else as long as we can drink.
Yes, well, Matt McCabe gave us a little recipe, right? He gave us vodka, soda, and Crystal Light. That was his that was Matt McCabe's diet drink. So there you go. Straight from the horse's mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now, I don't like rumors with regard to this case. I heard a rumor that Brian Patrick Higgins and Brian Albert are on the outs completely. I don't know if my source is good. My source is saying his source is really good. And to me, my source is good, but I can't confirm or deny if they are or they're not. It makes sense to me that eventually those two will have to split at some point. But people were asking about why are they appearing at this case? Generally speaking, you would never have your clients appear here because there's no reason for any of those clients to be there. They did this for a psychological reason that they all had to appear for this big nothing. It's literally nothing in terms of the legal maneuvers. So why did they all appear together?
I think you said it, right? Probably first, so that they could have their trolls go on X and say, oh my God, Karen and Aiden weren't there, right? So that would be one. But yeah, for exactly the reason that you're saying, because they want to try to put forth that they are not guilty of this. They want to try to put forth that public face that they're innocent. And I think that's, if there was a fallout of any kind between Brian Albert and Brian Higgins, that would be the central point in my mind, would be that Higgins has tried in every way imaginable to stay low profile. Like, he does not want to be in the public spotlight. It is clear as day. He barely leaves his freaking house. He's obviously living in Fort Knox. If, you drive down his cul-de-sac and all of a sudden he's chasing you. So, I don't think he wants to be a public figure at all. I think he just wants to retire into obscurity. But they, like you were saying, obviously feel like they need him or want him to be a part of this lawsuit. And I guess that makes sense just on its face, right? It's not complete without him. But at the same time, I could see that if I'm him, I don't want any part of this. And yet they need him. And you know what? They're tied together. I mean, if you think about it, I thought a lot about this because it does speak to the amount of influence they have over each other, right? So, in other words, Brian Albert, because Brian Higgins is involved in the crime, what choice does Higgins have if Brian Albert calls him up and says, hey, you got to add your name to the lawsuit? He doesn't really have the ability to say no.
You're 100% right. And think about that. Let's just say that the McCabe's did not witness what we think occurred. Then they're pissed. I mean, Jen McCabe's vindictive. You could see it. This is their vindictive way to get back. Right. But the last person that wants any more exposure is the person that actually committed the crime, right? The last thing you want to do is have the opponent's ability to go through all of your records and potentially get that missing piece of evidence that they need in order to convict this guy because of the statute of limitations being forever in this guy's life. He does not want to be a part of it. I believe so stringently that his name being last was so important because he didn't want to be a part of this. When you want to file a lawsuit, you want that name first because it's always going to be McCabe v. and whoever the first defendant is. There is an advantage, a psychological advantage to doing that. She wants her revenge against Aiden. And we transitioned to the Tim Pool, is it Tim Pool, Tim Cass, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And their feeble attempt to try and silence anyone, including Aiden, is so indicative of their thin-skinned nature. And now they have an attorney on their side that's probably getting paid by the minute to do any of the work that they want. So if you don't know what we're saying, there was an attorney letter sent to a YouTuber that was going to have Aiden on. And in that letter, they cite this old law that probably would never apply, basically saying if Aiden defames us, you're liable because you're rebroadcasting Aiden's defamatory statement. Now, there is a little bit of truth to that, but for the most part, it's a bunch of bullshit. What really happens here, Aiden, it's not that Tim Cast is this big tough guy. He could have put Aiden on. And let's say Aiden rebroadcast the defamatory statements and he has to get sued because of it. But the thing I can understand with Tim Kansas, and you know, because your dad dealt in the next level, I'm talking the top level of entertainment, where it's way more advantageous to protect the brand than to deal with just one particular guest, one particular issue. You have to protect the business. So
of course,
they chose the business, which is technically money, over Aiden, First Amendment, anything. You could take Aiden to lunch and dinner. It doesn't matter. You, Tim Cass, whoever the guy is, had the ability to do it. You chose money over this particular guest, and I'm not faulting him for it, but that's what really happened.
Also, I'm not sure how much he knew about it. You know, like, I don't know how invested he is in what Aiden's story is. If I'm him, maybe I'm thinking, well, could they be telling the truth? Who the hell knows, right? I don't know how much he knew about John O'Keefe, about Karen Reed. So it's possible, too, that he just wanted to play it safe, right? Like you're saying, to protect the brand before making the decision to sort of, like, you know, with full awareness, venture down this road. It is interesting. Do you think it backfired? Because he did get a lot of attention because he was sort of stopped.
We talk about the Streisand effect, and I don't necessarily know all the details of that, but I know that Streisand, wanted to stop someone from posting something about her. It may have been about her house, but the reality of it was now everyone wanted to learn about what she was trying to protect. Right. So that happens here. Clearly it's happening here. We're talking about this, and normally we wouldn't be. So that's free advertisement. They're not doing it for that reason. But when you have thin-skinned clients like the McCabe's, they're going to make these mistakes. And if my theory is right, where they don't know that Brian Patrick Higgins killed John O'Keefe, then they want vengeance. Brian Patrick doesn't. He wants out of this. He doesn't want anything to go. So it's a double-edged sword for both of them. And now there's just more exposure to it. I think eventually whomever Aiden goes on in the future, they won't necessarily fall to the bluff by these attorneys because they're not going to do shit with regard to filing lawsuits. And Aiden's case against him would be so hard to prove. It's just, again, get your own legal advice. But this is just pure bluffing going on right now.
No, but they're going to, I mean, I think Aiden's right. Any effort that he makes to try to branch out of our community, because I think that's what they were worried about, right? Like Tim Pool's a different audience. It's 2 million subscribers, but it's 2 million subscribers that do not follow Turtle Boy, right? They're not watching us right now. There are people that are completely uninvested in this case, in these cases. And that's what's scary. It's like, all right, it's one thing if however many 500,000 of us are already very, focused on this, but anybody outside of that starting to reach the world at large, I think that's what really scares them. And to your point, wanting to stop Aiden any way that they can, wanting to shut him down. It's like a little notch on their belt, a little win, right? So that feels good. But I do think that there is truth to, look, it's not, the Streisand effect is kind of what it's known as publicly because of that situation. But in general, that's how humans are. It's like when you're driving past a car crash and somebody says, don't look. I mean, the first thing you want to do, it's almost like you can't stop yourself, is turn your head and look, or don't look behind you. It's like, wait, why? The first thing you want to do. So it makes sense that humans are like that. I mean, we are very predictable creatures in so many ways. So I get that. And I hope that's the case. But I do think that they're just going to try to be a thorn in his side because they hate him. I mean, they really do blame him, which I think is pretty funny given the circumstances. Because, Aiden says this a lot. If you watch his shows, he'll say like half of these people didn't learn about this case from me. And he's right. I didn't learn about the case. I didn't know who he was until way after I was introduced to the first trial. So yeah, it's true. The majority of us probably didn't know who he was. We're not introduced because of him, but they have a relationship with him that predates this case, right? Like we heard he had come on with me and told the story, and he's told it many times about how they found a text in John's phone from Julie Albert that said her biggest fear in life was, being featured on Turtle Boy. So locally, they knew who he was. He already had an audience. They were scared to death of him. And so that's, I think, part of why there's this vendetta that's so targeted at him.
Absolutely. Do you remember the Saturday and Sunday morning cartoons where Bugs Bunny would try and deflect against his opponent by running in front of a big door and saying, don't look in here, because the second they open the door, they fall. And that's human nature, right? We want to see what we're told that we can't see. And that's going to happen here. Look, the interview would have come, would have gone. You know how cycles work. 48 hours later, we wouldn't even be talking about it now. It is very hard and pretty much impossible to keep things off of the internet. I've dealt with these cases before, especially like the beginning of the internet where, for example, Hulk Hogan and his sex tape with Bubba the Love Sponge wife, they tried to keep it off the internet. And there's a whole years of litigation, but the more you try and keep it off, the more it'll eventually be on there. It's there for life. So that's what it is. And we're dealing with that. I don't know how you feel about everyone aging, but who do you think looks the best of that group based upon those pictures that we saw?
That's a good question. Chris looks the same to me. Chris is like ageless. He just looks exactly the same every time I see him. He looked pretty good, I thought. Chris actually is somebody that in person is a lot better looking than he is on like video on TV. I don't know why that is, but that's just some people are like that, I guess. And I thought Jen looked pretty good. Seems to me like she might be getting Botox or something, doing something now. Because she looks like she's going a little bit backwards from when we first met her in terms of just how her face looks. However, I say that, but then I went on X this morning, and there's this great video. I'll pull it up in a second, in a bit, where she was harassing somebody. So then they start videoing her. So they're videoing each other. Jen is videotaping them, and they're videotaping her, and she doesn't look great there. So apparently she put her best foot forward for court, which makes sense. Matt looks a little bit older, but certainly Brian Albert to me looks the worst. That's how I would say it. Yeah.
I like the look that he had with the beard and the bald head. His issue is his body because he's frumpy, and I don't want everyone thinking this guy is some big tough guy fighter. He's chubby and he's what he is. Brian Patrick Higgins obviously lost a lot of weight. He looks better, whether you like him or not. He does look better. And little Colin Albert is no longer little Colin Albert. You have to say he's a very good-looking guy. I presume that you would think, if absent all this, he would be good-looking enough to date you.
Oh, I don't know if I would date Colin, but I mean, he's not bad looking for sure. I don't think he's ever been bad looking, but you're right. He's filling out. He looks older. He's starting to look more like a man than he did like a child, right?
God damn, Colin's not even good enough looking for you.
Well, I mean, he's Colin. It's his personality, right? I mean, he's aesthetically attractive, but just.
All right, yeah. What else you want? And girls are so shallow when it comes to this, way more shallow than men. Good-looking guys can get away with a lot of things. I'm just trying to judge like your level, not necessarily his personality, but just looks-wise. It seems to be like a Massachusetts boy that you would be attracted to.
That's an interesting. I mean, if I was 19, maybe for sure.
Right.
But it's interesting, actually. I mean, this is a whole nother topic, right? But I have worked with a lot of very, very attractive, just objectively attractive men. It's very interesting. Like, there's a whole psychology about how people engage with attractive people, not attractive people, attractive men specifically. That's very interesting and different from what you would expect, right? Like, they get a lot of women maybe, or if they're heterosexual, certainly if they're not heterosexual, they get a lot of men also. I mean, they just get a lot of attention, but they also get a lot of negative attention. They get a lot of people engaging with them in very odd ways and projecting on them in all these weird ways. So psychologically, there's something to that. That's bizarre, but maybe for a different conversation entirely. So I would not put Colin in that bucket, by the way, just because of his personality. But
damn, I'm so trying to get you to say that Colin is hot so I can just clip that and then play it on other videos.
Colin's, it's tainted. I mean, Colin Albert is not an objective figure in my mind. Like, I cannot see him as an objective person, right? I can't. It's not possible. Like, it's ruined. It's destroyed. You're gonna have to ask somebody off the street, because I am way biased, way down the bias path with Colin Albert.
I can understand that. I just wanted you to say it so I can have it for future videos.
Yeah, I'm not objective. There's nothing objective about it. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. He's definitely, I think, of the three, the best looking. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah, he's about younger and. Like,
well, I meant of
younger.
his siblings. I meant of his siblings. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah, definitely he was. I remember seeing them on the street there. Yeah, it was surprising that they were even related, because they sort of didn't look
I know,
same.
they do. It's funny how siblings can look very different, but yeah. So that's I agree with you. I think Higgins looks better, thin. If you really look at him, when I first see him, he's so thin that I'm almost like, oh, like I don't even know it doesn't compute. But when you look at him objectively, he definitely does look better. Brian Albert just looks older to me. He just looks like he's aged considerably. And he has. I mean, he has. I imagine that of all the people, he probably has the most internal stress, because he's kind of into this stoicism. So he has to hold all of it in a different way than everybody else, because he's like the leader of the pack. He's carrying the strategy. He's carrying, how everybody else is going to behave. We saw that reaffirmed in the verdict, day after the verdict video. Everybody's looking to him before they open their mouths. So there's lots of evidence that Brian Albert is the ringleader, obviously, of this crew. That would mean, of course, he's going to be the one to carry the large, the burden share of the stress.
The only reason why I disagree is because he wasn't the catalyst to this murder. And if he was, then yeah. And there is a slight chance he was, but for the most part, my theory is that it was Brian Higgins that initiated that initial contact, the fatal blow, and that's going to eat at him and eat away at him for the rest of his life until he's arrested. He will have a big relief once he is arrested, and he actually has to eventually come to grips with the fact that what he did most likely is a crime. Again, it could have been self-defense. He hasn't admitted to any of this yet, but Aiden was talking about the divides in the Free Karen Reed and the divide amongst us. I guess we're on that side, the Free Karen Reed. I think more of it's shifting now towards finding the real killer. And that's really what my good buddy there's a whole world of the Howard Stern alt world now that I participate in too. And Nick Rekieta is an attorney that is a major part of it for nefarious reasons, not crazy reasons, but nefarious things. Like he was having a polyamorous relationship with 2 other people in this world, and that collided. And but Nick Rekieta is the attorney that was catching a lot of heat after the fundraiser because Aiden had him on. And Nick Rekieta is an interesting guy. Did you ever see anything with him? He's a good-looking guy, but he has like the Joker behind him. He's an attorney. He may be disbarred or temporary disbarred for these nefarious reasons. But after he appeared with Aiden, everyone went back and did some research on him.
Okay.
And you were going to find like lots and lots of crazy shit. Like his kid tested positive for cocaine. Like these all like crazy, not to say that it was intentional or whatever it was, but there's a lot of crazy stuff. But he is an attorney. And he was giving his advice with regard to this particular issue. And to me, it's funny to see how once someone comes in here, the whole other side goes in through your background and attacks you. I'm sure you've felt this type of attack on some level, even if it's just on a woman's looks or whatever it may be. I don't know what they can attack on you, but for me, like I get it too as well. Oh, we know that there is an award potentially that you were a candidate for. I don't know if you won or not. But there was a few people that were running for, I think, Investigator of the Year. And I saw that there was this thing out in Vegas, CrimeCon. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I know CrimeCon, of course. Yeah. Yes.
How come we're not out there?
I know, we have to be. It's so funny.
What is that?
CrimeCon is like an annual, I don't know, true crime get together, I guess, like a big conference. We should try to be there next year. My sister told me about it a month ago, and I was like, I think it was at the end of March. I forget. It was really soon. It was like coming up almost immediately. And I was like, there's no way we're going to be able to get ourselves involved. Even if they wanted us to come and we could go, it would be so last minute. It would be really hard to pull off. So we should try to do it for next year. But yeah, it's like a big true crime event, I guess.
Oh,
like
really?
Joe
Yeah,
Kenda
I can't do it.
was
I can't do it. Who?
Oh, it would be so fun. Joe Kenda, you know who that is. Like the guy from... oh my God, help me out, you guys. He's like, yes, you know who he is. Homicide Hunter. Homicide Hunter. So the true crime, as a true crime person, I know who that is. Like he's he's the best. He's like that grumpy, like he was from Colorado Springs. If you saw him, you might you might recognize him. He's awesome, but he was one of the big speakers this year at CrimeCon.
Yeah, I saw that Chris Hansen was there as well. And we've did a lot of work with Chris Hansen in the Howard Stern alt world too, because he had some issues with, he started dating a young girl, not underage, but younger, married guys go for younger girls. I don't know if you ever heard of that before. And then he got terminated from his job because most of his job is hunting down the illegal type underage dating. That's not what he was doing, but it didn't look that good. I think that's why he was terminated. But then he started his own thing, and now he's building it back up again. Same type of thing, just targeting people that are targeting underage kids for sex, obviously. Yeah, so he was out there, I think, because I saw a few posts from it. I think it was this year. But I didn't know what the hell was going on with that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just a conference. It's not always in Vegas. I think it moves around. This year it was in Vegas. I think last year it was in Colorado. Last year there was a whole controversy coming out of it because of something else that is irrelevant. I don't know enough about it to even speak on it. I just remember there was this controversy, and Aiden did cover some of it. But yeah, so CrimeCon is a thing. We should definitely try to do it. It's something I would love to do maybe next year.
Well, anyway, there was someone that wanted to present you an award there, or potentially you win the award. I don't know if I gave him the link to come backstage. If they ever do, maybe you can.
He's here. He's here. Yes, he's here.
Okay.
Should I bring him on? This is Derek.
I guess I'm so naive to all this stuff. You have to tell me what's going on.
Okay, so let's bring on Derek. Derek, we're bringing you on. This is Derek Carney. He's joining us. Hello.
Oh, how are you?
Good. How are you? Welcome.
So I've been watching you for since the beginning, and the last 2 weeks ago, I guess, when you finally did your last episode on the McAlberts, I was thinking man, this is so great. She needs an award. I'm like, somebody needs to give her an award. So I was like, well, I can make an award, So I made up an award. It's called the Sherlock Holmes Award, and I wanted to present it. I contacted some people, and I got them to be a part of it. So on behalf
Well, hold on, Derek. Don't announce the winner yet. Let me get my speech ready in case that I'm the winner of this award. So tell us the basis of this award, and maybe I can figure out if I'm the winner.
well, it's just specifically for Samantha. For Samantha.
It was for me.
What?
It's for your
Somebody wants to give me an award, Vince. Sorry, go ahead.
It's for your outstanding work in content analysis and deception detection regarding the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe.
Thank you so much. I don't even know what to say. I've never been given.
I'm getting emotional. It wasn't even for me. So the criteria was you had to be Samantha to win.
Derek, I can't. I don't know what to say. I mean, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, let me just rip up my acceptance speech here, Derek, because I thought maybe I had a chance of winning this award. Apparently I didn't, but I almost got emotional here because, Samantha, a lot of what you taught me throughout this past year helps in detecting words from people that I meet with, from clients that come to you and say they have a case, and then you hear them speak an answer, and then all of a sudden everything that you taught us starts to ring true. And a lot of people say that body language is bullshit with deception detection, but the words are beautiful, meaning that they leave you with so many clues with regard to whether someone's lying or not. And I think that's where Derek comes in. I had thought maybe my reporting and my analysis would have got me the win for this award, Derek, but I agree with you that Samantha is probably the rightful winner of this award.
Well, you're probably the Watson to her Sherlock. You know?
Oh, that's so nice. Emily, did you hear that? That's funny.
Yeah, Emily would probably be the other Watson.
Well, is there any type of a visual of this award? Is it physical?
Yes.
What do we have going on here?
Can I show?
Yeah, you can show it.
Go ahead. I'm going to step
You
aside
wait till
for
you
a
guys
second.
see this, Derek. This is just, I don't even know what to say. You guys, this is so incredible. I had them brought up. Hold on. I pulled them up, and now they're not here because I reset the... Okay, hold on. I'm bringing everything up. Let me show you this first because I have to show you this first. Look at this. It's so incredible. I don't even know what to say. It's just so incredible. Where are you? Why can't you guys see it? Hold on.
That's incredible.
There it is. Look at this. Look how beautiful that is. Derek, what do you do for a living?
I graduated in film and video production.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, you are certainly a talented individual. I saw this, and look at this bag. For those of you that, have been on this case for as long as certainly I have, but as long as so many of us have, look at this. Look at this bag. Can I zoom in on the bag before I show the award? Let me show this.
Of course.
Okay, check this out. Look at this bag. Look how beautiful this is. Look at this bag.
Wow.
Look at that. It's the front door of 34 Fairview. It's the front of the house with the garage, with the door with the staircase. I just thought this was so incredible.
That is great. I wonder if we can mass produce this in China somehow, Derek.
I know, right? I was like, oh my God, it's so cool. Really, really cool.
Emily said she wanted one.
I mean, wouldn't we all want one?
I would
This
like
is
one
so
too.
nice. All right, let me show the award. There it is.
Wow, look at this. Certificate of
so cool.
Excellence. The Sherlock Holmes Award is awarded to Samantha Benigno, MAMSCASAC. Now, who signed this, Derek?
Well, I didn't want to weird everybody out by sending it around to actually get their signatures, so I just got their permission, put their names on it. So everybody at the bottom, they gave me permission to be a part of it.
No, don't say that. You went and got it individually. That's how much they cared for it, and they signed it in person. Derek's being modest here, but who are those people? Because I can't see it from here.
Attorney Melanie Little, yourself, myself, Sergio De Niro, Zelda Kelly, Denise Pelton, the best mod on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Favorite Emily C. and attorney David Yannetti.
Oh my God. I cannot. Look at the
Wow.
lengths, Derek, that you went to pull this off. There are no words. Like, you sent this to me last night and I was so flabbergasted. Like, I didn't even have words. I was like, wait, what is this? Wait. What? Like, it's such an honor. It's just incredible that anyone in the world would think and put so much time, effort, and energy into doing this for me. Like, I don't even know how to say thank you. And I'm terrible about even compliments, you guys. Like, for you to go to this length is it's such an honor. I feel just honored.
Well, because I saw how much work you put into this. Like, you just were so dedicated to finding out the truth, and it's just such a noble goal that it's like I don't know, it just blew me away when you had that final episode. Like, I was like, yeah, that's it. Like, that you used their words.
I know.
So brilliant. Like, you used their words against them to prove who did it and what happened and where it happened. I mean, it's like, and it makes sense and it all fits. So.
Now, Derek, I know she beat out Nancy Grace. She beat out Nancy Grace and Megyn Kelly. Were there any other people that were in the running?
I mean, not really. I mean, maybe Sergio, but.
Right. No, and to your point, like, I think Emily asked me this the other day, and it's so true. Like, when I first saw what Sergio was doing, he put out a video during the first trial, towards the end maybe, of Jennifer McCabe. I think that was the very first video. I saw what he was doing, and immediately I was like, this is going to be the answer. This is going to be how we figure out what happened to this man. And spent the next 2 years like every day, because I'm so obsessive. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. Almost every single day from that day that I first saw that video, I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to learn what he's doing, and I'm going to figure out the answer to these questions. So that's what I did. And I mean, it's just, I did it. You know what? The truth is, Derek, I would have done it anyway. I would have done it whether there was YouTube. I would have done it if it was me alone in a box, because that's how much I wanted to know what happened. And I'm just honored that other people see it. And sometimes I feel kind of guilty for taking so long in my videos. They can go on, and I feel bad about that. But I just like you're saying, I wanted to make sure that everybody understood why I was saying what I was saying. And I wanted that so badly that I was like, all right, screw it. I don't care how long they are. We're going to go through it like step by step so people understand.
Derek, who is in the running, I guess, for next year with regard to this award?
I was thinking of that, and I was thinking of maybe, I mean, I don't know how, I'm gonna have to do some research on how other people give awards and how they do it or whatever. And I don't know, I'm not sure, but I would like you guys to be involved in.
Is there any chance you're just doing this to get the girl's attention / phone number to date her?
Oh, no, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah. No.
Okay, well, that rules that out.
Happily partnered.
Yeah. It's such an honor, Derek. And then when I started talking with you, I was even more honored because I saw just like what an authentic person you were. And I was like, oh my God, this means so much more because it's coming from somebody who really obviously genuinely cares and has been paying attention and knows this world and knows the case. And
I've been obsessed with it since I first heard of it.
Derek, so what is your opinion as to exactly what happened after 12:25 when John exited that SUV?
I mean, I think Samantha's got it. I mean, she nailed it. She nailed it. She's got it. She got it locked in. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, he went into the house, quick fight, probably, or the dog, something happened. We don't know exactly the details exactly, but he probably somehow slipped or fell back, got hit, fell back, hit his head on the bricks. They didn't know what to do. I don't think they like got together and plotted it beforehand. I think it was an act, like it just got out of hand. They were drunk, but how they reacted to it is not, still makes them culpable.
Yeah, I agree.
In a
Yeah, I
huge
think even
way.
Turtle Boy have said that, right? Like, this was nothing that was premeditated, nor did they want John to die, whether it was just Higgins alone or somebody else. This was a regular fight over a woman. Derek, I guess you can give us a better opinion. Is Colin Albert hotter now that you've seen him?
Oh no, I said something on Twitter yesterday that he looks like he lost as many IQ points as Higgins lost pounds.
I know, right? I would agree
I don't think
with
that's
you
possible.
There.
I think that's true, Derek. I think I don't know why I'm saying that, but I have the same feeling actually.
I hate to say, I mean, like looks don't really matter. I don't think they really do. I think how you are on the inside shows your beauty or not. You know, there's plenty of good-looking people that are like just horrible people. You know, and I don't know, like how you are on the inside is like so much more important. And yeah. Oh, but I have another not a surprise, but like another great. You know, this was the cake. Like the award was the icing that I didn't know that there was a cake underneath it. So when I contacted Sergio De Niro, I'd expected that he would know, you know, about your channel and everything, because I thought maybe YouTube would, you know, when you reference a video, it sends a notice to the person who is the original creator of the video. So I thought he would know who you were, but I guess they didn't do that for. I'm not
Oh,
sure
that's
why.
so exciting.
So he was like, well, you know, I hadn't heard of her, and then I checked out the links that you sent me, and I was like really like pleasantly surprised, and so he said that he wants to work with you in the near future. He wants to collaborate with you.
Oh my God, that's so
Wow.
exciting! No way, I get to do it.
And he seems like a really great guy.
Oh my God, that's so exciting! I can't believe you did this, Derek.
I know. I don't know. I go with my gut, you know.
Wow.
So anyway.
Thank you. I don't
Well,
even
it's
know
funny,
what to
Derek,
say.
because Sergio put 4 copyright strikes on my videos that I used of his after you spoke with him.
Did he really?
No, he didn't.
No, I'm just joking.
That's what I thought.
No way.
And then I did send you. I sent out a puzzle of the picture of you with the purse. With the
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. So you'll get that next week. I think like June 12th through the 18th. You're gonna get that.
Oh my God. Oh, I will definitely make sure everybody sees it.
I thought you're finding all the puzzle pieces and putting them in their place. I thought that would be the best thing to do.
Thank you so much,
That is
Derek.
so nice
I
of you,
don't
Derek.
even know what to say. So I'm just so honored. I thank you so much. I could never thank you enough.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, next year, Derek, I want to be in the running at least.
Okay, maybe you'll get it next year.
most obnoxious law tube or something like that.
Right.
You know what?
Right.
I whether it becomes an annual thing or not, I just am so honored, and it's going to go in my background as soon as possible. So it's there for everybody to see. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Really, really. And stay in touch, Derek. Stay in touch with me.
And if I ever get the Karen Reed the musical on Broadway or somewhere in Boston, I will definitely have you guys free tickets.
And you know what? I'll post about that too, and maybe post a link if it's okay with you. Can I do that?
Of course you can.
Oh, yay. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That's right. So, Derek, you sent me Karen Reed the musical, and so people are going to love it. They're going to love it. So I will post that immediately after the show.
And there's songs by Fervin in there too. Fervin's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Fervin's the best. We're going to have a Fervin break in just a bit. So
Excellent.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you
You're
very
the best.
much. I
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh my God, right? I can't believe somebody gave me an award. It's just like, what?
I thought I really had a legitimate chance of winning. It was just us two down at the end, I guess. But
I guess
congratulations.
So. Thank you, Derek. Oh my God. I could never say thank you enough. Like it's just crazy.
Well, it is weird because people gravitate towards authenticity, and I know you for being super authentic with what you do. And whether it hurts your numbers or they're not that great, you do it. And that's something to be proud of, because not only does it teach us, and yes, we do make money on the show, that's part of it, but most of what you're doing, and I see it, is in the middle of the night and throughout the day, figuring out exactly what you believe is true, not just for entertainment purposes, but for legitimate purposes. So congratulations, although I thought perhaps I was in the running for this award. Every once in a while.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks so much. Yeah, it's funny. I learned that the hard way, right? Like I learned that I'm just doing it. I'm winging it. I'm not, I had no strategy, no plan. I just one day was like, I want to talk about this case. I can't take it anymore. And that's where it all started, right? So I'm just like everybody else trying to put the pieces together along the way. But I knew when I first saw that video from Sergio, like I knew that there were answers, because it's just impossible otherwise. If you do not have a tool to go in and that you trust, that you can go in and count on to do this kind of work, like you're never going to be able to figure it out. It's just there's no way to discern definitively, with an 80% or above accuracy, whether or not somebody's telling the truth. And, when I saw what he was doing and I saw that it was bearing out, like I saw that what he was putting out was turning out to be true factually, I was like, all right, there's something here that I must know and I must learn and I must understand. And even with this stupid Mackenzie Shirilla case, like she said like 10 things on Netflix. For those of you that, didn't see, there's this Netflix documentary called The Crash, where this, 17-year-old girl killed her boyfriend and a friend by driving her car into a wall at 100 miles per hour. So she's on Netflix. She put out like the smallest statement. It was just like 4 paragraphs. But in that 4 paragraphs, she said a few things that were so like I didn't know what they meant, but I knew they were important. And then now, after deep diving into that evidence, I realized like, wow, this turned out to be true too. So it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Like when I was going through Sarah Levinson and Julie Nagel's statements, it was blowing my mind, just like it was to everybody else. Like I was not going in with intent. I was going in simply to find the truth. And even if it meant me hearing something I didn't like. So I appreciate you saying that part, because it's true. Like I'm going to tell you whether it's popular or not.
Right. And when you listen to Sergio, and this was a while ago, there were times when he would say something and it would sort of contradict his overall theme, but he would say, I have to accept what this person is saying as true here because that's the rules of this analysis. So
Right.
it's not always about finding what you want to hear
Right.
based upon what you're reading. Sometimes you have to concede that this is a truthful statement based upon everything I know. And that's the phrase that Sergio would use, based upon everything I feel
know.
and know, right? Like that's something that was so interesting to me. And through all this time, Samantha, I would always put more credence into someone's body language and indicators of deception with that compared to the words. And the words are so much better. And you really don't have that ability as a juror to look over the lines and be able to detect it. But we do. And that's the beauty of what we have in this particular case, because we have 2 trials and Lally just followed the script of questions and we got a lot of information, a lot of responses.
Unbelievable.
And when you listen to Brian Patrick Higgins testify, it is something where you see so many of what you're speaking about, what Sergio's speaking about with regard to deception, and it's just wonderful. So congratulations on
Thank
this
you.
well-deserved award.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So do we want to, we better
let's
get
answer
to
some
folks,
questions
right? We gotta
before,
get to you guys.
getting
We're going to be here
behind here.
forever. Chastity 73 gifted 5 memberships. Yay, Chastity. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Welcome 5 new members. You're awesome. Mama She 13 is a member for 3 months. She says always late, but oh, I love a Monday nooner with you and Vince. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. At on top XX 6382 sends 199. Thanks for the super sticker on top. I'm just gonna pick people's nicknames. A nickname. Oh, we got our new members, the 5 members. At Cody Woodark. Welcome, member Cody. Hi, Mark. Mark is a member for 6 months. Hey, Sam. I'm on a stop order from the internet from my wife. Tell her I get it. I totally get it. We'll miss you though, but I get it. At Your Dad's Favorite Mom is a member
hello,
for 2
hello.
months. Hi, At Your Dad's Favorite Mom. I love how she changes her name. Sam, can we please watch Waterfall video? Yes, at 11:15 to 11:25 when John is talking to Brian Albert. Yeah, we do need to take a look at it. I swear you can see the tension in John and in his body language and Brian. Yeah, I've been hearing this over and over, and I keep forgetting what the timestamp is. So then I go back and I'm like, wait, what is the timestamp? So we got to make sure and take note of this. 11:15.
Yeah, with regard to that, I almost put that in the video today. Just didn't want to put so much in, but you see the dynamic where they're really fighting over Brian Albert at some point, meaning John and Brian Patrick, because John's talking to Brian Albert and Brian Higgins is on the other side. Brian Albert is in the middle, figuratively and literally, right? So then when it comes time to leave, that's when Brian Patrick starts tickling Brian Albert's neck and grabbing his ass, literally. And John is seeing that. This is like 30 seconds before they leave. Like, they're fighting over this guy's friendship, love. And there is psychological reasons why males would do this. And it doesn't always have to deal with Karen. So it's very
really
interesting. And that's what this beautiful figured woman here is pointing out. That time frame before, which we didn't get to see in trial one.
That's so interesting, right? That's why the Waterfall video is another really rich in content, right? I mean, there's so much information in that video. Even just the last 3 minutes when they're hanging out and the lights are on, you can see everybody so much more clearly. Just everything about it is informative. So we should definitely take a look at that. If we have time today, we will absolutely do it. At Otto1630 sends $20. Congrats, Samantha. Better luck next time, Vince. Thanks, Otto. We appreciate your support so much.
In 6th grade, I'll never forget this, Samantha. There was only 3 trumpet players, and it was just down to 2. And they're announcing the winner of the best trumpet player. And in my body, I could still feel it. I was about to step forward, and Jennifer Muni won it. So I felt myself, and the winner is, and I'm literally like stepping forward, and then it was Jennifer Muni. And I still tell it to this day, 30 years later, she has no clue what I did.
Funny.
Yeah, I did lose that too. So I'm getting bad flashbacks from my childhood.
That's funny. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up for you. That's funny. At Bill Rogers 9658 sends $299.99.
Wow, $300.
Bill Rogers, thank you. Guys, don't fight over a girl without words first. Opinion. John and Higgy argue. Brian Albert holding Chloe. Sucker punches John. Brian Albert has been protecting his pension all along. That's probably true. They would say if it was self-defense for Higgy, but not all this. Brian Albert has a history and was afraid he would lose his pension even if it was an accident. I mean, I think that's probably true. What shocks me,
100%
Bill,
agree. I'm changing all my opinion, Bill. You're 100% right. For $300, I'll change my opinion quickly.
No, I mean, I do agree with this. And I think here's the thing, Bill, and this is another point, right? What freaks me out about these people is how quickly they started to go into that mode. Like, I understand that look, any of us, I've never been in that situation. So do I know what I would do 100%? No. But they had time. I mean, they could have sent everybody home, everybody get out of here, and we'll just call it in 20 minutes, right? I mean, they could have done it any number of ways. And they elected not to call 911. And I can't get over that. I can't get over how quickly they went into self-protect. And I've said this before. Even Sergio, when he was doing his analysis, he gave them 20 minutes to process what was going on before they kind of went into let's try to clean up the mess that we just made. And in actuality, I don't think it was 20 minutes. I think it was 2 seconds.
Yeah, and again, you know where you and I cross paths in terms of this. And my opinion is not set in stone. It's just what I could potentially prove out of trial. That's sort of the threshold that I'm going at. Yeah, and if you say that they knew and they saw someone lying there and didn't call 911, are they criminally liable for what they did? I'm almost saying yeah, on some level, right? Like if they're colluding to not get help for someone there, but then again, it's a weird situation where if John is already dead, could they have done anything? And the answer is probably no. So it's a very interesting legal question, like where someone jumps off a building trying to commit suicide, but someone within the building shoots a bullet and it randomly hits the person as they're falling to the ground, right? These are all weird legal questions, right? They're not dead yet, but they wanted to kill themselves. Is there legal liability? And it's an interesting legal question in Massachusetts. They will go to the state law, which I'm not aware of with regard to the situation. But
well, who exactly would be liable? I guess that's really the question, right?
Right.
Like who exactly and what would be their level of liability?
Right. That's true.
Right? Because obviously if you were in the house and you knew about it and you didn't call 911 and you didn't call the police at any point and they find out that this happened. I mean, look, these people, the lawsuit people, must be betting that everybody in that house will never open their mouths no matter what the situation is.
That's tough. So what would a young Samantha do at 19 in a Massachusetts environment where you're at, let's say, the coolest person's house, meaning like you're in a Julie Bagel type situation, and you saw this go down? What would you do?
It's I don't know. It's a great question. I don't know.
Because at that time, you're more of a gangster-ish rebellious kid, right? Compared to what you are now?
I mean, for sure, but I always had like a real healthy fear of prison. So I might be like a bad example because I'm claustrophobic. And so the idea of being in a cell is like it's like the one fear I actually have is claustrophobia, being in a confined space. So prison is just unimaginable. It's like the worst thing I could think of. So I don't know what I would do. This would be very tough because there's another factor. It's not even like you and your friends. Okay, so you're a bunch of kids. Like if it was me and my 17-year-old group of friends, that's one situation. But this is somebody's dad, 2 law enforcement professionals, and the murder of a police officer. So like it elevates, what to do. I wonder if I'm Sarah or Julie, do I feel safe because a law enforcement professional is the one telling me what to do?
Yeah, and the fact that they weren't involved physically, obviously, in attacking John gives them a mental separation. It's not as if they did it and then in their mind say, well, what the hell could I have done? I didn't do this and I couldn't have saved them anyway. There is that. There has to be. If what you're saying is true, they at least have that mentally. Meaning like Sarah Levinson didn't throw a punch that landed on John.
No.
Right?
No.
It's just not happening. She doesn't have the means to do it. So
she didn't do it. No.
Right. So And they don't even care. Think about the dynamic, right? Because you have Brian Patrick Higgins sitting there with them between 12:05 and 12:20, and they don't know him. And I couldn't even imagine Brian's even interacting with them. They're so much older. They're foreigners, right? So there's nothing going on. Jen shows up at 12:18 and 35 to 40 seconds on the phone with John. And Brian Patrick hears her giving the directions to John, and within a minute and a half, he sends that text message. So I don't even know if they're really interacting with the kids at all.
Yeah, and particularly Brian Higgins, because remember how in the bar, what's interesting about Brian Higgins, remember his relationship with John and Karen centers around a bar. And we see that he doesn't move. He's not like the social butterfly in the bar that like drinks and goes to all the different people and chats. Like he literally does not move. He goes from sitting to standing and then messing with Brian Albert, but he never leaves that spot. So clearly to me, that suggests in a bar, if you want to hang out with Brian Higgins, you got to go to him. He's not going to come to you and just start like messing with you or flirting or whatever, right? And that also is likely going to carry over into Brian Albert's home. So when everybody did have them split off, whether they were literally in 2 separate rooms or just split off, I think that's probably exactly what happened. They were kind of split off in the corner talking because who's he going to talk to? He's not going to, self-initiate going to talk to, like you said, Sarah or Julie or Brian Jr. He's just not going to do it.
Right. And that's pretty much all that's there, right? So what else is going on between 12:05 and 12:18?
Absolutely nothing. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least Jen's coming in. She's living the party up.
Yes, she would be doing that. Yes. Thank you so much, Bill Rogers. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, that was awesome.
At Bonnie Base 6601 sends $20. Thank you, Bonnie. Sam and Vince, I'm concerned about one thing on the 911 call. Jen said to the dispatch that they flipped John over. Yep. Which means he didn't land on the back of his head. No. So yes, if you go back and you listen to that call, based on the testimony of Carrie and things that Karen has said in the past, John was not face down. He was on his back, looking straight up. And when Jen says that, it's because dispatch is asking, because Jen says, I think he's dead, right? Right away, within seconds of getting on the call, Jen is saying, I think he's passed away, right? So the guy on the other end of the call, now I don't, is that Sean Good? Do we know who's on the 911 call? Is that Officer Good? I've heard that before.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we do know. I'm just not 100% sure it's Good, but it most likely is.
Okay, so because there's 3 people it changes
Right,
hands
eventually.
to, right? Yeah. So it's interesting because he's not stupid. And the first thing in his mind is, well, how'd you know? Why do you think he's dead? So he's thinking, and he asks, right? Like, why are you saying that you think he's dead? And that's why she says, we just flipped him over. That's why she says it, because she knows that he's trying to figure out, why would you say that? Like, what about the way he looks makes you think that he's dead? That's why she says that, because she knows that, oh, well, if he's face down, then he's dead, right? It's the creepiest 911 call in the whole world. I did like a second analysis. It's like it's more recent on this call, and I go into that in a lot more detail. Check that out if you can. Maybe I'll put it in the show notes if I can remember to.
Because I guess sort of the point, though, Sam, is that
it's crazy.
If you're against the Karen Reed conspiracy, then technically you would have to hit the back of his head right where he landed, and not necessarily roll over. Like, he would be found with his back on the ground if the ground caused that, which it's virtually impossible for that to have happened.
But that is
I don't
what
even
happened.
Entertaining it, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, the actual ground where he landed, that grass, the fluffy grass with the snow on it, is not going to cause the injury in the back of his head. So if you find them laying on the front of his head, like just laying face down, that would be sort of contradictory to that.
Oh, well, right. I mean, that's true too. So, but that also isn't what happened.
Right.
But yes, that's not why she says it, though. It took me a while to figure that out. So to Bonnie's point, that was definitely a question that I think a lot of us had going into the 911 call. And then the last analysis I did, because I was mad at you, Vince. That's why I went back and looked at it. I was like, I'm mad at Vince, and I'm going back to look at this again. And I saw it right away. I was like, oh my God, this fucking monster. She's giving us an excuse for why it is that she's trying to explain to dispatch why she said he was dead. It's disgusting. She's a disgusting person. I'm sorry. This is why I have such a problem with Jen, because how do you do this? How do you do this?
I did see a text message that Karen described John as the buffalo on the prairie, and I never knew where the origin of that was from, but the forensic girls did get their hands on the text message. I think Karen was saying that to Karen was saying that to Aiden.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. But she's basically saying, not in a derogatory term, but if you go there and see how small this place is, you would see that it looked like a buffalo on a prairie. It was stuck out so much.
Right.
Yeah.
So wait, why were the forensic girls bringing that up, though?
They had that within the text message that they obtained, and that was just a portion of it, because I think Hank Brennan, or maybe even Lally, references, this is not a buffalo on a prairie that you just shot. Something to that effect. I don't know if you remember that throughout.
Vaguely. I vaguely remember it, yeah.
And I didn't understand why he said it at that point, because it seemed odd to say that.
Yeah.
Right? But that's where they're using Karen's words against him.
I see. But that's actually, I mean, a great point, though, right? I mean, I understand that maybe, like, not the most tactful way to say that, but if you're looking at that lawn and how small it is, and then you have Jennifer McCabe telling you that she's staring out the window, and then every 2 seconds for the next 15 minutes getting up and looking out the window and, oh, why aren't they coming in? And you have her and Matt doing this ridiculous performance. To me, if I'm the prosecutor, as soon as I have 2 of my forensic people telling me that Karen's car is gone at 12:30, and then I think back to the fact that I built my whole case on Jen McCabe telling me that Karen's there till 12:45, the first thing that I do is go, wait a minute, something's not right then, right? Jen is clearly not telling me the truth. And she's got this whole story that's just, I'm staring out the window. So what that means then, according to the prosecution, is she's staring out the window for 15 minutes at John's body on the lawn.
Right.
Which is just utterly absurd in every way. But anyway, she gifted 5 memberships. Oh my God. Thank you, Emily. You're the best ever.
She does that on purpose because she knows I don't get a cut of any of the memberships.
Thank you, Emily. You are the best in the whole world. At Cynthia Marks 139 is a member for 4 months. Hi, Cynthia. Want to see if John says something to Brian Higgins when they hug. Is he mad? Yes, somebody else was asking, like, could he have whispered something into his ear? I didn't see that, but it's not impossible.
I don't think that happened because then there would be a conflict straight away. This was a subservient, hello, how you doing, hug that John doesn't know what was going on for the past days, 9 days, 15 days, right? All the texting, the fact that Karen betrayed him and kissed him in his own house, the fact that Karen went to Brian Patrick Higgins' apartment alone. Now we're going to see a little bit in the video today it looked like over 2 or 3 hours. So yeah, there's a lot that's going on that John has virtually no clue. He becomes aware a little bit, like you've always said. He referenced it when they actually went out and she was on video. What are you two hooking up? But I mean, he didn't take it seriously. It was more of like a joke, but behind every joke is some truth, and you're trying to press, right? Because there are a lot of times, actually we had friends that this guy was the married couple, he's on his phone, she's like, oh, what are you, cheating on me? And he just said yeah, and he admitted to it like out of nowhere, and she was just joking. These are personal friends. This just happened like a year ago, right? So then now they're fully divorced, all from that one little joke, which is exactly what actually John said to her, right? Because you don't want to risk your ego saying, oh, just accusing them, because then you seem like you're a jealous person. But John definitely sensed something
he did
when he said that.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much there. There's so many ways I could go with that. I think, to your point earlier, sometimes I will stay away from certain analysis because I'm afraid of what it'll show. Because I know that if I see something that is nefarious or that people aren't going to like, I'm going to have to say it. And so there's certain analysis that I'm just like, you know what? I'm better off not knowing. I don't want to know the answer to those questions. Sometimes
have you ever
when it comes
did
to
that for this case?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like a Jen McCabe statement that you don't want to analyze?
Never. Oh no, not with Jen. Okay. Not with Jen. I was thinking of Karen.
Oh, interesting.
No.
What about?
Well,
I have to turn my lights on, but you tell us.
Sometimes, like, I've done full analysis of Karen, so I'm not worried that she killed John. I mean, I'm very, very comfortable with the fact that Karen Reed is not responsible for the death of John O'Keefe. So, like, I'm not suggesting that I'm afraid to suddenly find out that Karen is owning up to killing John. There's no part of me that believes that. In fact, even if she said it, I wouldn't believe it because I'm very certain about what happened to John. The question for me is like like I said, I've done an analysis of Karen. I've done plenty in different contexts. But where I would get concerned is if I was to do and I've not had a specific example. I just generally have stayed away from Karen talking about Brian Higgins or Karen and John and Brian Higgins. Like, I've kind of stayed away from the 3 of them because I'm a little anxious about what that'll uncover if I was to do a deep dive into it.
Yeah, I think there's like a perfect segue into the video that we have today. And I agree with you that privately, almost everyone has said to me that the real issue with regard to this case stems from the fact that Higgins was not mentioned literally at all until trial came and you heard the text messages.
Right.
So to me, I 100% agree. I'm not afraid to say that I don't believe that Karen had anything to do with the murder of John O'Keefe. It's ridiculous to even think that, but it's almost sacrilegious to sort of go against her. But now that she's not facing any criminal trial and criminal cases, it's something where we have to not ignore it anymore, because everything we're seeing from the first trial, all these secret text messages between Aiden and Karen and everybody, and Yannetti too, no one's mentioning Brian Higgins.
Right.
It's always little Colin Albert's Brian Albert and a Ford Edge, but no one's mentioning the most obvious suspect of all of these people, right? And and Sunny agrees with me, right, Sunny?
I know, she just wants me to pick her up and put her on the couch. So let me start the video, and then we can, then I can put her up on the couch. This little dog. Something about these headphones, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, why do you keep going to them? Is something wrong with the sound?
No, it's okay. Hold on. Here we go. Here we are. Okay. Sharing.
So what we're first going to see is Yuri Buchanik's handwritten notes. And I will credit Miss Emily for picking out the kill aspect when we get to it. But these are the handwritten notes of Yuri Buchanik with the transcription after they were written. It's the handwritten's on the top. The transcribed part is from the AI that we use. So this relates to what Yuri Buchanik was hearing from Brian Patrick in their only interview. Going out with a friend in town, Melon, I think that was probably the name, Melanie, let her come over, and my address in West Roxbury, 8:40 p.m., 11:15 p.m., texting me she was home over. See, now, I'm still trying to figure out, did these two hook up? And it's not so important to me that they did. Whether they did or not means really nothing, but are they both not disclosing what really happened during their private meeting?
All right, so let me just hold on a second. Text, going out with a friend in town. What is this Melon?
I think that, or maybe Helen, I think she was going out with somebody. We know that she was going out with someone. We're going to hear the text messages.
Oh, Karen is saying that she was going out with somebody. Okay, I got you. I got you. Okay. Yeah. I remember her saying this now. Okay,
but then it's so let her come over, find my address. I think he's he's referring to what the texts are going to show. Right? Because at some point in this investigation, Higgins realizes that he has to disclose that him and Karen were having a relationship. And that's going to give him motive. And that's why he brought these texts to
It's very quick, actually, though. I mean, it's like within a week.
Right. But the point is that this is what Yuri is writing down, and I'm trying to suss out, is Higgins and Karen sort of colluding and not disclosing what exactly happened that particular night.
That's interesting. Okay.
Not because it matters, but because if they are, then you could see where Karen's attitude is that I don't want to even put myself in a picture of having some form of a conflict, meaning that I was having this issue with Brian Higgins. I was having an affair, whether it's emotionally or physically.
Okay, amazing. So how do we do? Okay. How do we discern that? How do we discern that? Okay, sorry. I never actually played this.
Yeah, there's a little part.
There it is.
Okay.
You feel guilty texting me? No. Okay. What do you want from me? Nothing. Do you want anything from me? I would hang out. Oh, gee, thanks. What am I supposed to say?
Question mark.
You're being tough on me. None of us is married. True. So game on?
Question mark.
We can say whatever we want.
Do you like me? Question mark. I responded, yes, clearly. Defendant said, come over my house. Are you glad you walked me out? Question mark.
You asked why I want to hang out. I'm just saying that I already hang out with you. Yeah, but we have never one-on-one. Does going to a friend's house qualify as transportation to drink? Yeah, because I can't just have one. Have none then. There's 5 bedrooms here. Does mine have a lock on the door?
Question mark.
Trust me, I am tempted. Grab the Hennessy. Thanks, doll. I am confused. You don't feel guilty in inviting me over? Should I? I don't know. Who knows what you feel? Only know what you said when you were drinking Hennessy. Jeez, I just...
So wait, he's in the blue, right? Brian Higgins is in the blue? Okay.
Yeah, and she's the one saying sometimes it's hard to figure out because usually it's a guy saying come over. It was
Yeah,
Karen
it's-
that was saying come over, and
right,
he's
and
giving
this is
all these
before
excuses.
the Patriots game, right? This is before the Patriots game.
I think that it was after, I believe, because it's
You
sort of
think-
towards the end of it. Yeah.
Let's see.
Because she tried to get him over after, because they never hung out one-on-one alone. This is leading up to their one-on-one.
I see what
meeting.
you're saying. This is when she's home after. Okay, got it.
Explained everything. I thought, wow, you get angry easy. What are you talking about? I'm not angry, at the least. But you kind of have a live-in boyfriend. You act like I ask dumb questions. Yeah, kind of. Do you plan on leaving him? I don't have any plans at the moment in either direction. Sometimes I go back and forth. Yeah, I'm a ton of fun. I am super private and do not talk out of school. I am safe. Does that make sense? I am all of that and more. Safe? Like I am private. Don't talk out of school.
Sam?
With what I do or...
I don't know if you ever had an affair, but this is a fair talk for we can hook up and I won't say anything to anybody.
Oh,
So
yeah,
don't worry
of
about
course.
that. Okay. I didn't know if you-
Yeah. No. Yeah, he's trying. I mean, he is essentially confirming here. She was asking him in an roundabout way, like, is he somebody that she could do this with behind John's back? And he's sort of confirming that he is, which is interesting because that spits in the face of some of the other ways in which he engages her.
Yes. And also, just to point out that he does a lot of projection on her with regard to being easily aggravated. There's so
That's
much
true.
that what Karen is not. No matter what you say, she's not the person to be insecure. She's very forward in what she says. And Brian
Interesting.
Higgins is the insecure person in this situation. But a lot of times, and we're going to see that he's going to get aggravated easily. He's projecting that onto her. And we're going to get into the part where you see where he has that conflict once he finds out John talks shit about him in his mind. He immediately puts his focus on the John, which is coming up.
He doesn't like it. You're right.
or who I hang with. Do I aggravate you? No. According to John, you may occasionally talk out of school. He said that about me? But that's none of my business. With respect to what exactly? None of my biz. So then why invite me to your house party? Now I am aggravated. Tonight's house party? Or last week? OMG, why? Last week. Like, why would he talk shut about me?
Question mark?
Because we all like you. Everyone does. Geesh. You just said he talked shit about me. He wasn't talking shit at all. He always says how much he likes you. Just mentioned Brian does all right for himself. He has not said one negative thing about you ever. I just didn't think you were that private. That's all. I am about a lot of things. Don't be so sensitive. I am good. Nah, my boxers are just fine. You're not going to run your work truck through the gears tonight? I thought you were tons of fun. No, I am not. As much as I would like to. Moving on to the next call. Huh?
Sam.
Will you stop?
What does the truck through your gears mean?
I think what she was asking there is because he had used his work truck as a reason not to go out and drink.
Or
I
come
think
over and bang her too. I know, like he was giving like a lot of excuse, but when she says you're not going to run your truck through the gears, is she really saying you're not going to come over?
I think what she's saying is you're not going to come out. I'm not sure if she's asking him to come over or to go out to the bar, but he's saying I'm not going to drink and drive.
Okay, and the text message that was before, it does confirm this was after their
it confirms it was
kiss,
after.
but before they ever hung out one-on-one.
Right. Yep. Okay, we're going to go. Yeah. There's so much going on here. It
is, I know, and it's sort of choppy, but it is nuts now to watch this knowing what we know. Knowing that there wasn't a true, they met and that was it. Knowing that we saw Karen physically flirting with Brian, which was exactly what I didn't think happened, right? I was making fun of Higgins for not taking a hint. Meanwhile, he knew exactly what was going on at the waterfall, but yeah.
Okay, wait, let's keep going.
You sensitive again? I can't really follow your thought process. You keep kind of insulting me a little. I am still confused why you want to hang with me. It's also out of left field. Are you single? Yes. I don't think it's out of left field. Wasn't I already begging you to come over last Saturday? Why would I have thought you had any interest in me?
One thing I want to mention, like one point I'm learning about Karen is that her sense of time is a little interesting because there's numerous places, both in her interaction with Higgins and with John in those texts, because I've done a lot of analysis of the texts between her and John. she has a weird sense of time. Like it's like last week was 2 years ago, the way that she will talk sometimes. And she does that with John too, which I think is just interesting.
Okay.
She just did that right here. It's neither here nor there. It's just an interesting sort of tidbit.
So you have sent me signs before? Did I miss them? John and I have had a lot of ups and downs. And we already did this nearly 20 years ago. And there's kids involved. At some point, it gets frustrating and my actual feelings take precedence. Do you remember anything you said to me the other night? I'm just trying to explain where I'm coming from. Yes. I deleted it because I didn't want to do my own text walk of shame. But I'm pretty sure I remember everything. Difference between being married or someone and dating someone. And we have no intention of ever getting married. And drinks down there. Are you there tonight? I have a pass to drive my Jeep on the beach.
That was interesting.
That was. I didn't even catch that initially. I mean, she's basically saying this relationship has no future. Long term.
That is what she's saying, yeah. And
Right?
and the thing that her and John are fighting about, just so you know, is their future together.
Yeah, and there may have been this gap after they meet and the waterfall, but as you asked me randomly for the video of what occurred the day of the waterfall, and that was Karen and John fighting in the driveway. And clearly they're having an argument, which is fine. It doesn't mean anything besides a normal relationship. But I would imagine as a female, after a full day of feeling neglected, there is some mental benefit to having anyone give you positive attention, meaning Brian Higgins at some point, even the guys before at the bar, right?
Well, it's more than that though, Vince, because those texts between John and Karen are very much about their future. So first of all, she references the conversation they were having the night before. They get in a fight that morning because she takes Kaylee to school and gets her Dunkin' Donuts, I guess, on the way or whatever, something along those lines. she comes back. John is pissed about that and starts shit with her. Then I guess he hits her in the face with a pillow. I don't know, whatever. She gets upset and feels like, whatever. Then with that video, we watch that she actually follows him out to the car before he leaves, which is interesting. I'd never seen that before. That's why I asked about it. But throughout the day, those texts, John is saying outright, it's no surprise. It's no secret, Karen, that things haven't been great between us for a while, right? He's very stressed about the kids. He talks about how he feels like he's failing as a parent outright. John doesn't say a lot, but when he does say something, it's meaningful. It has like a heavy weight. So he's not like frantically texting her the way she is. She just kind of talks a lot more, but he says important things. So we know from John that on that day, he's like, look, things have not been good between us for a while. Like it's not great, Karen. Now he gets a few drinks in him and that kind of falls away, but it's still there. It's still ever present. They still fought all day. Right. And she says specifically, last night, I tried to talk to you about our future and you were like, whatever, like not interested in it. So it's on her mind in a very present way.
Yep. 100%. All right. So we're getting up to this meeting that they're going to have alone.
Okay.
In West Rocks.
Lots of fun to be had. I can give you all the beach life you can handle. Stopping for a drink later?
Question mark?
By where? My spot in West Rocks. At a bar? I wasn't suggesting anything.
Can I just say something? So this text is very important. And it's funny because I've never done an actual linguistic analysis of these texts, but he says, I could give you all the beach life you could handle. That is a critical text message because he's not saying, he's saying, I could give you all the beach life you could handle. Brian Higgins is thinking about building a life with Karen Reed. That text is not like, hey, we'll have a fun summer. Hey, come out and, we'll go to the bar down the street. He's saying, like, if you want the beach life, I could give you all of that. So he's actually selling what the future with me would look like. That is so different from come down to my house down the Cape and we'll bang. I mean, that's not what he is saying at all.
I've said it to you multiple times, but it's important for women to understand the way guys categorize women is it's either in the C level, you hook up with him once and never talk to him again. B level, where it's a hookup, but when you get to the A level, it is exactly what you're seeing here. We will forego hooking up as much as we don't want to get a strong long-term relationship. And clearly that's how he's categorizing her. This is not exactly what you said. This is not a one-time hookup. This is not even a month hookup. He's thinking literally for life. That's how guys think.
He is thinking that.
Idiots.
I mean, he's thinking that. As crazy as that is, because he doesn't even, he doesn't know her at all. I mean, it's
Doesn't
totally
matter.
insane.
It's
Yeah.
all about what we see. I mean, you have to understand how much
Apparently.
visual is to men. When guys say, and you hear it a lot, oh, I fell in love with my wife the first night. Usually the wife is like, yeah, I hated him for like 7 months. We can wear a girl.
That's true.
And we'll wear a girl down. Like, it can never work the other way. A girl can never wear a guy down into a long-term relationship. It never happens. But how many times in your life have you seen a couple where you're like, how the hell did he get her? Right? And it's like, is it money? No, you can wear a girl down, and any girl can. It's a weird thing with guys,
He's
but it
right.
doesn't work the other way. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. Once you are categorized in this A category, this is what you see, and this is what you get.
Yeah, I mean, he can try to deny it all he wants, but it's clear as day in his language. I mean, it's just clear as day.
I know you're with your friend. I meant my house. Probably
Look,
after
also,
8. Okay.
look at this. We also have, look at this as a follow-up. I wasn't suggesting anytime soon. So he's even saying, I wasn't suggesting anytime soon. I'm not thinking about you right now. I'm thinking about, here's the life I want to sell you. I'm not even thinking about today or tomorrow, right? So again, to this point about how he's placing her in his mind, he's not even thinking about her coming over now to have a drink or to hook up. It's not even on his mind. And you would think, because if he's attracted to her, that is what he wants. He is thinking, I want you to leave John so that you can come and build a life with me. That is without a doubt what he's thinking.
God, you give me the chills. It's so crazy because this is Karen being aggressive. Karen's interpreting everything as I want to bang tonight, not at a bar, at your house, dummy. Like, she gets this game because she's older. She's been in this situation. She knows what a drink means. And Higgins is insecure and also wanting a future with her, not just tonight. And again, that only happens in a very rare situation when you're categorized in this top category as a man.
Right, but he also doesn't want to send her away, right? So he's a little bit stuck because he knows that that's what she wants. I mean, she basically spells it out. She basically says, I'm coming over for a booty call, which we're going to see, right? She basically tells him that. I know, she says, I'm an adult. I know, I've been around. Right. I know what it means when you invite an adult woman over for a drink, right? And so they talk about the fact that that's why she thinks she's coming over. But he doesn't, it appears to me as though he doesn't try to hook up with her. But he also doesn't want to turn her away. So it's this weird spot that he's in also. Okay.
Yeah, and that statement has already been made, like with regard to the drink equating to hooking up. So he knows that this is a separate day.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is after.
If you don't want it, that's fine. No pressure. I'll drink whiskey if that's what you're having. Send me a pic of you two. Bite me. Stop saying fresh things. Why? Are those statements tempting?
Question mark?
Nope. You can stop over for a drink. Balls in your court. Are you going to give me the address? Yeah. We don't have to meet up if you don't want to, but I'm leaving town now. I'm up for a drink. Okay. Should I drive around yelling your name? Question mark.
Question mark?
Do you really want to come over? Only if you want me to. Can you take charge? Okay. Well, I am in my car and now getting on the highway. This feels like I am.
So this is an odd statement, right? Can you take charge? Like what the hell is he saying there, right? What do you think that means?
From a guy's point of view, it's, I'm in love with this girl and I am very insecure in this situation. Actually, Emily once said this to me about guys and girls. Like, if you're that insecure, then the girl probably is out of your league, because usually it's the man that's taking charge. That's what women are attracted to in theory. But if a guy is intimidated, then they won't take charge. And that's what I believe he's saying here.
I don't know, though. There's another variable here. That's part of the problem. I don't know that we're getting a fair... I don't think we're getting a fair assessment of Higgins from that perspective, because he is also trepidatious because of John. He wants to hear her say, I am very sure I am leaving John O'Keefe and now I want to start dating you. That's what he wants to hear. He's not getting that. So that's why he keeps saying, like, what are you doing with me, Karen? Are you just playing a game? Is this just a big game to you? He's trying to get from her over and over again, like, what are her intentions? But she's ambivalent, so she doesn't really know, which is why she's only giving him kind of like this half-assed answer all the time. So I don't know. I don't know if he had the green light all the way that he wouldn't have been more assertive, but I think he's hesitant because he doesn't know whether she's playing games or not.
You bring up a great point, because when we first saw these, we had no idea that Higgins and John had a real relationship. And I always thought that he didn't give a shit about John because we didn't see really any interaction between the two besides that day of the game. Now that I know that they have a real relationship, it is so hard for a guy to hook up with someone that their friend is literally dating. That is a weird situation to be in. We'll cheat, sure, but we generally don't know the husband. Cheating when you know the boyfriend or husband is a weird thing for a guy. It goes against every guy code that there is. Now it happens, but it's not something we regularly would do. And so you're right to that point. There has to be trepidation in his mind because of that relationship he has with John, which we didn't know about until Corey got those text messages from John and Brian Patrick, right?
Yeah, and
we didn't know any of this.
Yes, and a lot of those texts never came. We never saw. They never.
Right.
He never gave them to investigators. They were deleted, whatever. Also, to that point, it tells you how much he likes Karen, because I think you're right. I think he would have shut this down immediately if it was anybody but Karen Reed.
Oh, yeah. Right. If the girl's not good,
an A-list girl,
an A-list, right? Then it's just not worth it, because there's plenty of B's and C's. The A's are the unique ones. They're the diamond in the rough. That's what we want eventually.
Yeah, and it is weird. I will say too, like, so I went back and I listened to trial one testimony with what's their name, the couple that John hung out with testify.
Yeah, right.
What the hell are their names? I usually
Cunnings
can
or
remember.
Coolings, or Emily's probably screaming. I know you're talking about. I can see them.
Oh wait, it's Cameranos, the Cameranos. So Camerano is who John goes to the bar with, but his wife testifies for some reason, although it's very strange why. Lally just has to throw everybody and their mom. Anybody who's ever known either of them gets to testify in that trial one. And so she was like friends with Karen, and I'm looking at this woman and I'm looking at, her husband, even Carrie Roberts. And it's like, Karen, what are you doing with these people? Like, these are not, what are you doing? These are not, let's be honest, right? I mean, these are not the kind of folks, even Jen McCabe. Like, do you expect a Karen Reed to be hanging around a Jennifer McCabe? Like, not really.
Why are you saying that? Because of looks or because of kids and marriage? Why?
No. Trying to figure out how to say this correctly. These are like local people. I mean, these guys none of these folks have ever left Canton. They're like, you know what I mean? They were married by the time they were 20, have kids that are like almost 20 something now, even though they're in their 40s. You know what I mean? Like, not that that's bad. I'm just saying,
right.
You look at
Karen,
Karen, she's, you know what I mean? Like, she's living in Boston, just had recently moved to Mansfield. She's got her own home. She's single. She's just she's a professor. Like, it's a completely different, what you would expect, I guess.
Right. But this isn't by choice. This is what her boyfriend is into.
Right.
And that's what is always going to falter this relationship, because he's got a family that's not even his, and she's being thrown into that. Let's be realistic as to the probability of this was going to last. It's not high.
No, okay. So to your point, that's fair, right? I mean, yes, if John, yeah. But I mean, she was also then contemplating Higgins, right? So it would have been like, all right, well, now I'm going from John to kind of a lesser version,
Yeah, but he's not lesser in terms of relationship status, because he doesn't have kids. Let's be realistic.
Yes.
Although not John's biological kids, they're his, that he has to raise, and she has to be a mom to, which aren't hers. This is
100%.
pure nature right here. Sure, that he's she asked that at the beginning too, like, do you have kids? Or she's sussing that out as well.
Yep. No, you're right. She wants to be the, and not that I, blame her. You decide not to have kids. One of the advantages is you get to be the center of your world. I mean, that's like kind of the point, right? Okay.
Forcing you. Well, I'd like to know where the hell I'm going. You just want to meet me at the crib, or do you want to come over? You decide. I don't know either. Wherever you're comfortable. Then just stop by for a drink. Up to you. No pressure. Just give me an address. I hate texting while driving. Text me when close. Okay. LMK when you're here. Here.
There was only one time that the defendant and I ever interacted on a one-on-one basis. It was wasn't an interrogation. It was a face-to-face version of trying to suss out and vet, like, what is this all about? It was just a weird experience. It was, I don't even think either one of us finished a drink. Like I said, it was this type of like, what is this all about? And then she left. In referring to at my residence when she stopped by, it was just, I was very uncomfortable, and it was just an uncomfortable situation. Just a weird vibe. That's the best I can describe it. I think I might have asked her to text me when she got in, so I knew she got home.
Home. Alive? Cool.
Can you
Thoughts?
Question mark?
Yeah.
Maybe you?
So what is your, I heard you mumbling there. So what is the issue?
I mean, that is,
Which way?
There's a whole lot going on in Higgins there. I think my off-the-cuff assessment is, first of all, number one, it's clearly like an extraordinarily sensitive topic for him. It is so sensitive, he can barely speak. That's number one. Number two, it's deceptive. My guess is that he's being deceptive because he doesn't want us to know that he was really interested in her. He's really trying to minimize his feelings for Karen, really trying to minimize and distance himself from her and his intent. It is so like jarring. I mean, he's losing it. He can't talk. That's not how just to be clear, Brian Higgins does not speak that way. Like his baseline, he doesn't stutter. He doesn't stumble over you know what I mean? He's a talker. I mean, actually, that's not true. That's Brian Albert. Brian Higgins has a really short and to the point baseline.
The issue for Brian Higgins during his cross-examination was to make sure everyone knows that he wasn't romantically interested in her, and Alan pointed out exactly why, because that would put him in a very precarious situation where now he has a straight up motive for killing or being mad at John O'Keefe, where no one else does, right? So at this point, you're 100% right. The fact that he doesn't even want to admit that they hung out alone, which is one, deceptive and makes him look dishonest to his friend, right? Mm-hmm. Hanging out with the girlfriend behind his back. But two, you're not hanging out with her alone because you want to just be buddies, right? You're doing it for a romantic reason. He refused to admit initially. And you could see how hard he was fighting to not have a romantic interest in Karen Reed. And clearly, if you don't, then you don't hang out with her alone.
So that's interesting, too. I have to go back. You sent that to me, and I have to go back now and look at that again more closely. I want to look at the time just before that, too, because it also... So sometimes it's much easier for people to be deceptive if the way that they assign meaning to words is specific, right? So, in other words, what is the word romantic? And why is he railing so hard against that? Clearly, he has an interest in her. He's telling us he has an interest in her. It's his words that are saying, I am interested in you, right? So we know that he's interested in her. Why would he be railing so hard against the word romantic when it just defies all logic, right? I mean, kind of to the Streisand effect. It's like at a certain point, even as a jury, if what you're fighting so hard against just defies all obvious logic, then you're kind of, making yourself more suspect. You're elevating the thing at hand, the topic at hand, right? So that, which is extremely problematic. If you're a juror and all of a sudden you see this guy with these texts about coming over, right, and hooking up behind John's back, there's a difference between dating and being married. I mean, this is a conversation specifically about hooking up and possibly dating in the future. There's no question about it. It is not disputable unless you don't have eyes, right? So
yeah, how crazy it is to
It's crazy.
read this now, knowing what we know now, and we're still analyzing it. And the fact that this was not shown in trial number 1, meaning this meeting, we're hearing it from Yuri Buchanan for a reason, because they didn't have this for us in trial number 1.
No, we heard this in trial 1.
Not the exact meeting, meaning like I'm here. Like we heard that they met, but not the details leading up to it. So
did we not hear this?
And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but they definitely kept out portions of this because
They
I
kept
didn't
out
know
portions.
Right. So then you ask yourself, why are they keeping out portions, right? And again, we know that Karen Reed's attorney's job is not necessarily to prove that Brian Higgins is the killer, but both sides left a lot of this out until Yuri Buchanan read the entire string in trial 2. So there was some of this that was definitely that, especially what happened after 2, because we didn't get to see the most of the communication right after, which we're about to see.
All right, let's take a look. So home. All right, so this is after she gets home. Okay.
Yeah.
Home.
Thoughts.
All right.
Home
Yeah,
alive, right? With the wink. Cool thoughts. Maybes you.
Oh, I don't think I remember seeing this. Did we see this? Why don't I remember
I don't think we
seeing
saw it
this?
in trial number 1. This is them talking right after. We may have, but I don't think we have. Again,
I don't
obviously
remember
we
seeing
can
this.
prove it one way or another by just seeing trial number 1. But yeah, this is important.
I don't remember
obviously.
seeing this interaction about like thoughts, maybes you.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that.
She got home.
Home. Alive. Cool. Thoughts?
Question mark?
Maybes you. What? You asked my thoughts. You didn't answer. I don't know my thoughts. Okay. I think I get it. You have any?
Huh.
All right. So just right
Interesting.
before, yeah, because Emily would bring up the point about you have any, meaning, because I always thought, all right, she had no interest after a physical interaction, meaning like they hooked up, whether they had sex or not, whether they were kissing or not, and then she didn't have any attraction towards him. But then she always said then she would never write you have any if she had 0 attraction after they hooked up.
Oh no,
What do
she
you-
did. I totally agree. I don't think she. I think she was interested in him. The problem was. I don't think. No, I just don't see Karen ever really leaving John. Not anytime soon. I think it would have taken. It would have been very difficult for her to leave. Sometimes people will cheat because they can't get out. Like they don't know how to, in a healthy, honest, direct way execute an exit. And it could be that part of her, she's ambivalent. Part of her wants to be with John and the kids, and another part does not, and wants to be with somebody like Brian Higgins and just doing her own thing. That's more
Yeah,
than
it's a
likely
good
what was
point. And remember,
happening.
there is a gap in time. I believe it's 9 days between their last communication and then the waterfall. However, like we pointed out, the morning of the waterfall, we have Karen Reed with a lot of animosity towards John, and John admitting that this probably isn't going to last that long. So that may lead into what we were mistaken about, was that Higgins wasn't ignored at the waterfall, as we've established. He wasn't ignored at all at the waterfall.
No.
And
Yeah.
Karen would have more of incentive at least to even interact with him, even if she wanted to ghost him, because she had this negative interact with John.
Well, also, it's not just negative. It's that, so she actually says in the text to John, like, and I've really been trying lately. I think in her mind, by not talking to Higgins for those 9 days, she kind of like was like, all right, let me really give this a shot. Let me recommit psychologically to John, and then to have it result in him hitting her with a pillow that morning, whether that's happened or not. That was her experience. And then feeling like he let her down, like she's really trying, and now this is the way he's treating her. He leaves her at the house crying, because clearly, like, I didn't even see that until I saw that you had shown it. So, she was upset. He let her down, I think. So yeah, that's another incentive. This is the first time she's seeing Higgins, and it's on that very day.
Yeah.
So I don't think I remember this. I don't remember seeing this. You asked my thoughts. You didn't answer. I don't know my thoughts. Okay, I think I get it. You have any? I don't remember seeing this. I thought that the last thing I remember was, I have to go back and think about this, but I just don't remember this interaction, because this does feel like there was a question that was left on the table that never got resolved.
Yeah, and I can relate to, okay, I think I get it. Sometimes when you're with an A girl categorized, you are very insecure and you're not in this position normally, and you almost want it to end as opposed to taking the risk to going forward and risking your emotion and risking rejection in reality. So he's so quick to get rid of her, and Karen's not like that at all. She's driving the guy wild, and he doesn't even know it. She doesn't even know it. She has no
She does not
idea
know
that her personality is driving this guy insane on a certain level, because she is ambivalent about a lot of this shit.
Yep. And if you're ambivalent, I don't think she was ambivalent about John, though, really. Not about John.
No, not about
Right.
John at all. She wanted that to work out because
She
he was the
wanted John.
better mate in her mind than Higgins. But if he's not available, you have to move on to your next choice.
Right. And that was what she was arguing, right? Like maybe he's just not available right now because he's got too much other shit going on, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, he's picking up on her ambivalence about him. And that's right. He's like trying to cut the cord before she dumps him or makes him feel unwanted. Absolutely. Yeah. Which happened anyway, because she held the cards the whole way. I don't know that she knew it, though.
True. Or even cared.
Right. Or even cared.
She's already in a relationship that she's trying to keep.
That's right. That's right. And that's an interesting point, Vince, because so how would you I know how I would make sense of that, but how do you make sense of that? Because you said she's in a relationship that she's trying to keep. So then what the hell is she doing with Brian Higgins?
Well, it's a backup, right? Because ultimately, every woman marries their second choice. They never married their first choice. And I'm quoting Chris Rock there, being a little facetious. But for the most part, it's true. I know for my wife, it's true. I'm probably her fifth choice. But there was a guy in every woman's life where she wasn't his number one choice, and she had to chase him, and she acted a fool with him. And eventually, you have to settle on whomever's in your right category. That's just generally how mating works. So that's where I feel she's at. And okay, I think I get it. You have any. See, that was an issue. Like, if you're totally ghosting a guy, do you give a shit about how he felt the night went? Or is she just saying it just to placate him and to be cordial?
I don't think so. I don't think she is placating to be cordial. I think that she's actually asking him, like, what are your thoughts? Like, part of what Karen's whole thing is she wants the attention. That's the whole point of the problem with John. When you listen carefully to Karen's words, what she's saying is, you're not honoring me. You're not paying attention to me. You're not honoring the good things that I'm doing. You're only pointing out how I'm not good enough. And, you're just not like holding me up on a pedestal in the way that I want to be honored as your partner. And so we know what she wants, right? I mean, she wants to be like his girl, right? Like all the way. And he's distracted. He's got a bunch of other shit going on. He's got kids that, they're going through their adolescence. He's overwhelmed, this guy, and he's a cop, right? I mean, John's an overwhelmed guy for sure. So Karen's a lot. She's not an easy girlfriend. She's very needy. And I'm not saying that to put her down. I mean, that's just, she is. She wants attention, which is a fine thing to want. That's why we get into relationships, right? She wanted a partner, but he had a lot of other stuff going on. Higgins is like the opposite, right? Like he's kind of single. He's got plenty of time. You want to live the beach life? Come on over. Let's do it. Right? So, yeah, it's interesting. I don't think she was indifferent. I think she wanted an answer. I don't think she didn't care.
Interesting. Yeah.
But I think she wanted to hear, I want you. And he wasn't going to do that because, like you were saying, he doesn't want to get hurt.
Yeah, and it's weird because we don't understand that in this situation. I've been in this situation where I want to tell you that, but I don't want to risk being rejected.
Right.
And if you're saying that that's what Karen wanted, that would be crazy too, because that's what he would have told her. That's what he would have said.
That is what I think she wanted. But, if he had said it, to be fair, I don't know that she would have said, I'm leaving John. But I think that is what she wanted.
Interesting.
For sure.
All right, just one last part here.
Yeah, sorry. Let me play it.
Yeah.
And then we can take our little fervent break because I have to.
Yes. My thoughts. You didn't answer. I don't know my thoughts. Okay, I think I get it. You have any?
Okay, just real quickly.
Oh my God.
What I think Emily pointed out, this is the handwritten notes of Yuri Buchanek, and he wrote what Brian Patrick was telling him: no relationship with anyone at Waterfall and house, or anyone to my knowledge. Only a kiss between us. Right? So he's referring to Karen. But did you see this part that Emily pointed out with the two L's? If you look closely, Yuri Buchanek wrote kill between us. Yeah. And I thought that this was very interesting and maybe up your field, because the brain, for some reason, he wrote kill clearly. You could see that there are two L's, and then he had to put S over it. And a lot of people think, oh, maybe it's a mistake, and maybe it is. But did Yuri Buchanek know when he was sitting there that this was potentially the killer?
He might have. I mean, it's not, we could never really know. Do I think it's possible that he knew on some level? Absolutely. Do I think, he wasn't, I don't think it was conscious. I don't think Yuri Buchanek was like, oh, this guy's really the killer. But I think he just was so committed to minimizing their whatever happened between them from the second they walked in, that he just was like, I'm gonna, quickly. It's surprised he didn't. What's interesting is that he didn't cross that out.
If you go a little bit further, they zoom in on it, and you could see, it is interesting that he even leaves it in for us.
He leaves it in.
Right? Because you could have easily crossed it out if you really believe that I should have just wrote kiss.
Well, I don't think he registered what he wrote.
Here. So
that's my point. I don't think he saw that he wrote kill. I think he saw kiss wasn't written correctly. You see what I'm saying?
The weird thing is, it's like to write two L's distinctively, right? Only a kill. The issue is they're only doing these interviews, admittedly, because of pretext, meaning they're just doing it to show that they went through the motions. They already found the killer. Within 17 hours, they knew that Karen Reed killed him, and 100%. That's why we're here. But somehow in Yuri Buchanek's brain, he knew that this was only a kill, only a kiss, only a kill. And really the kiss leads to the kill, and you can get to that analysis as well. But he wrote kill. It's hard for your brain to write kill as opposed to kiss, because L's and S's are completely different. So I know he knows sitting there that everything in his body has to, and his brain has to believe that what he's being told is so deceptive. And all those red flags, being an investigator for your entire life, when the potential witness is already lawyered up 4 days after, and this was supposedly his best friend, and you got a lawyer for some reason to tell us about what happened on this innocent night, and then you hand us these texts and you're giving us the oldest motive of all time for murder.
Right.
Am I killing you with my voice besides?
No, it's my head. It's nothing to do with you.
Just like the pain in the
no, it's on top of my head.
Yeah, so to me, this was an amazing find. I think Emily found this initially. I did a video on it, but I know that either her or someone else did.
Yeah.
But I put a lot of significance into things like this.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that Yuri Buchanek, especially because of all of them, Yuri's pretty legitimate. Like he's not only ever lived in Canton and only ever been a detective from the Norfolk County DA's office. Like he's lived a little bit. He's, done some cool things and been a real detective and law enforcement person in other aspects of life. He came back allegedly on purpose for some reason. But so I think you're absolutely right. If anybody knew deep down what really happened, probably it's Yuri Buchanek. But Tully and Proctor, like they're just, they're like homegrown guys, right? They're just never going to like even let it cross their mind for a second. I'm sure that on some level, Yuri Buchanek knew. Yeah,
100%. And you make the best point, and we'll take a break. But the fact that he is different than a Tully, he is different than a Proctor who's just a little bit dopey and confirmation bias. He does have experience. I mean, he was on a detail for the president of the United States. Like, so he has some exposure. And it didn't take much to figure out who the real killer was.
No, definitely
It
not.
didn't take much at all. So, and I have to pause there because, I'll insert the Brian Higgins. All right, let's take our break, Sam, and then we'll come back and read the rest of these
All
messages.
right, let's do it. All right, guys, we will be back in just a minute. Let me pull up our fervent break. We're going to start things off with the newest fervent song. Hopefully, if I can get it pulled up here. Here we go. Sorry, you guys. It takes a second to cancel other things out. All right, here we go. Enjoy, everybody.
Called you up into my office. Got you flowers and some chocolate. I don't really do this often, but I think we need some talking. First off, is it Deva or Diva? I think I have liver fever. But before we take this deeper, I need to know if you're a keeper. What did you see in the salad bowl? Are you sure it's something you need to report? I got an idea, I hope you agree. How about you blame it on a false memory? When the feds came, why did you sing? You should've knew better and gave me a ring. Know this and know this only. Before you go and give your testimony, Officer Deva, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Oh, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Oh, do the right thing. Don't get it twisted. This ain't a bribe, but if you tell the truth, there goes that 9 to 5. No more 6-figure salary. If you say what you saw on that Sally Port screen, I'll have your back. Unless they ask me some questions, I'll have your back. Until I throw you under the bus, I'll have your back. Let this be a lesson, I'll have your back. Really means I won't have your back. When the feds came, why did you sing? You should've knew better and gave me a ring. Know this and know this only. Before you go and give your testimony, Officer Deva, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Oh, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Oh, do the right thing. Unfortunately, Kelly, you're the only one going down. There won't be a public records lawsuit that'll expose me or anything.
I've been biting my tongue for so long. Fuck you, Hank. Think you're better than me. Fuck you, Hank. You are not lolly. Fuck you, Hank. Think you're better than me. Fuck you, Hank. But why don't we see? I'm a basic kind of guy. I really don't need a flaunt. Smoking 6 packs a day and I'm happy as a hog. All I do is mumble. Do I really need any lungs? The trial one jury was just like me. They were hung. Trial 2 came around and you wanna bench me? Not one guilty vote was embarrassing to see. Need to remind you that my jury was 9-3. Take your little OUI and get about the scene. Don't you hate, hate. Think you're better than me? Fuck you, hate. You are not lolly. Fuck you, hate. Think you're better than me? Fuck you, hate. Well, why don't we see? Why don't you see? Oh, I know what will get us the win. Ask French about his fucking ham sandwich again. That'll prove this beyond all reasonable doubt. Oh, who am I kidding? This shit is a rout.
It appears that I made a mistake.
You took this case so damn personally. And I hold that opinion to a scientific certainty. You weasel face, up bet, Arca Major P. Even with all the help you got from Beverly. Standing ovation. What a robust cross. Psych. Your nerdy ass looks so fucking lost. Just think. $500,000 was all it cost to get our asses kicked in the fucking law. Think you're better than me? Fuck you. You are not lolly. Fuck you, Hank. Think you're better than me? Fuck you. Well, why don't we see? Hey. Waiting for your response, Banky. Yeah.
Did I mention my jury was also hung?
I feel bad turning it off at that moment. Sorry, guys. Here we go. I like the We Believe song.
I love
What's
that song.
happening?
That
great.
can make me cry when I see John near the end when they zoom in on his face. It's tough.
Mm-hmm. I know.
But we do have the big gala coming up. Did you get your dress ready? You have to tell me
Yeah.
what color.
I would love to get dressed up, though. I think a gala is such a good idea. I'm like, why aren't we doing something like that? God.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going,
So
right?
should.
Obviously.
Yes. I think
I'll people
I
that
think-
our tuxes are going to match with the.
How long do you think before the police would be taking us out of the building?
I don't know. I would never step foot in Massachusetts except for this gala that we're going to. After that, I'm getting whipped right away. I want your fiance to hold me like in his arms, and bring me out.
I think my daughter and I are going to a concert in Foxborough a couple of days in August, and I'm like, maybe we should be in like costume even just to do that.
Did you hear like there was some fight between, I don't know if it was you and me or me and Melanie Little about me being your dad or something? Because that guy Derek sent me a Reddit post that there's like tubers warring, and I didn't understand, but I guess like they were saying that I was your dad. You didn't see that? I sent it to you.
No, I didn't see it. You sent it to me when?
Well, with the whole Derek thing, because I know we were trying to keep everything a secret. So I sent you, there was a Reddit thing that somehow like I went on Melanie Little's show or Shuba chatted Melanie Little saying that I was your dad or something.
I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I did not look at it. I did not see it. I try to stay away from Reddit as a general rule, but
I mean, I think it was Reddit. He sent me the link or a screenshot. Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely try to stay away from drama as much as possible. You know how that is. But you're definitely not my dad, and that doesn't even make sense.
I was like, what the fuck? I was pissed about that. I didn't give a shit about the Melanie Little thing. I was like,
we might even be less than a year apart. Hi at Got a Bad Feeling since $49.99. Yay! Congrats, Samantha. The amount of time, effort, and commitment you put into all you do is immensely appreciated. Love you so much. Love you too, Vince. You always make me laugh, even when stuff gets heavy. Justice for John. Thank you so much. Got a Bad Feeling. Oh my God, I'm so honored. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. You're a rock. Got a Bad Feeling is like my rock. At Nancy's 4062 sends $50. Wow, you guys, thank you so much. Sam, is Derek the one that did the "How Dare You" song? I don't think so. Right?
I'm not sure.
The
I
"How
was trying
Dare
to
You."
keep this all a secret from you, but apparently I'm not good at that at all. Derek or anyone, don't tell me any secrets because I just tell them to the people. Whoops.
Wait a minute. The "How Dare You" song. No, the "How Dare You" song, isn't that the one that the one I sent you? Is that the hair? What's the name of that song?
I don't know.
The
The
rap
one that
song.
you sent me, I love that thing.
I know, I
so
love it
good.
too, but I thought
Yeah.
that was the "How Dare You" song.
I
don't think
it's
so,
How Dare
Nancy.
You. It was
No,
awesome
because
though.
Derek's is like it's more than just a song. I mean, it's like a kind of a production.
No, Derek's Mr. Wonderful because he gives you an award.
No, I'm serious. I'm just telling you what it is.
I'm just
it is pretty cool. Like I said, I will definitely post it tonight after the show. Hello, Madeira Beach caregiver sends $5. Don't you think John would have said something to Karen to 34 Fairview? It's a great question, Madeira. I have to say, I think it's possible that he did.
Yeah, the fact that she doesn't go in initially is, in theory, suspect, right? If you're going as a couple to someone's house party. Now, I get the excuse she gave. I can totally appreciate that too. You don't know these people. You don't really want to go. You'd rather just go home and not continue drinking like we're 20 years old. But as you see, John either was going because of his affection for Brian Albert and wanting to get in with him, or just wants to keep drinking, or more importantly, he's going there to figure out what the fuck's going on with Brian Patrick Higgins.
Yeah, I think this is where, I'm not that invested in the time sequence. Now, there's a lot of controversy because of this Waze, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Now, if you look at the Jessica Hyde report and her assessment of Karen and John using Waze to get to the house, that gets them there at 12. I don't even remember the exact time. I don't want to botch it because I'll give the wrong time. But essentially, there's a 3-minute differential one way or the other, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the Waze by Jessica Hyde, then if we go at that time, then those steps that we see with John's phone kind of fit right in the middle. Now, to be very fair, though, with steps like that, this is from Ian Whiffin's mouth, actually. I didn't know where I got this, by the way, and then I went back and listened to him the other day, and I realized that he says it too. So it doesn't matter. It could be any time in the steps window, right? It just has to be after the fact. In other words, steps have to happen, and then it gets recorded after. So we know that the steps happened before whatever the time is that's showing up on the range. But it could be any of those times. So it's not any more likely that it was 12:21 in 2 seconds than it would be 12:24 in 2 seconds, depending on, right? It's the range. Anyway, the point is that there's still this controversy about whether they showed up at 12:21 or 12:22, I guess. I'm not sure. To me, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. To me, and as a result, I went to try to find the 12:23 screenshot that Julie Nagel sent to Jennifer McCabe in order to get a definitive timestamp on when they are out in front. I have not been able to do that to this point. However, I don't know if it matters to me so much. I just know that they're out in front when Julie and Sarah are leaving in the present, actually leaving. There's a conflict. It stops them from leaving, and then they stay. They're told they're staying, actually. So that's what I know. Whatever time it happens in, it happens between 12:20 and 12:27. That's what we know for sure.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that they arrive at 12:24 and 34 seconds, or 38 seconds, just right in there. It's impossible for them to have been at the house at 12:21, just based upon the logistical route that they took. I know, but it is important, though, because had they got there at 12:20, like people originally thought, then his movement on the phone is very significant. 3 elevation changes and 80 steps. Now, we debunked the 80-step thing only to the point where there wasn't any distance registered with it. But to your point, if they got there at 12:24 and 34 seconds, there is a chance that maybe he did move the 80 steps within it because it's registering after the fact, and it could have been right at the end. The only thing we did have was timestamps for the elevation changes. It wasn't just within the whole range. There were 3 different distinct timestamps that Ian Whiffen showed that the elevation changes did occur. But more importantly to all that was the route that they took, the fact that they had to go all the way around and come back. And that's where they met Ricky's truck at that intersection. Makes it impossible for them to have been there before 12:24. But it is significant, Sam, if they were there at 12:20, then John having 3 elevation changes would be a huge deal. Obviously, you'd have to be moving in the house to have those type of elevation changes.
Right, yeah. I mean, to me, he was moving in the house. It just doesn't matter. But I understand what you're saying, right? I mean, like I said, I don't... to me personally, because I'm going based on their testimony, not based on the cell phone data, it's just not as important to me.
Got it.
However, I understand, of course, just for accuracy and the desire to want to be as accurate as possible, we want to be as accurate as possible. I guess the question I have is, why does the Waze data differ so much from Ian Whiffin's report?
Yeah, I can't say it differs at all unless I go back and look at it. I'm not sure exactly what they're referring to.
Yeah.
I know people were trying so hard to fit that 1220, and they were trying to subtract 3 minutes from the Waze data. We know when John enters the address in because he's calling Jen McCabe at 12:18 to get the address. He doesn't enter it until after that phone call. So he needs that time, and they're not anywhere near 34 Fairview yet because they're going to loop all the way around that Minecraft road and eventually get back to Fairview.
I just don't know enough. I think
and if
that's
it doesn't
the
matter
answer.
to you in your assessment, then it doesn't,
just doesn't
really.
matter. It doesn't really. Right. Because what I would want to know, I mean, the fact that this is what matters to me. If there's a text message that is sent from Ryan Nagel at 12:23 while he's on Cedar Crest, then Karen is pulling up sometime between 12:23 and 12:24.
Right. And there is.
If that is. Right.
Right.
Sorry.
We haven't seen it, but we know that you found the testimony where he said he did not text that when they were here. He did it before they got there.
He did it, yes. And Alan
Right.
Jackson is confirming that it exists. It's in the grand jury testimony. Both Jen and Julie confirm it, and Ryan. All three of them are saying, yes, there's a 12:23 text message. So, that's the best that we have at this moment. But that's what I have no choice but to go off of. Welcome, Nancy Brockridge. Welcome, new member. At Joyosaur sends $50. Holy crap. Thank you, Joyosaur. Nice to see you again, Sam. I know, it's Swedish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love from me in Sweden. I just say dollars because I don't know all the proper, denominations. Yeah. Thank you so much. We so appreciate your support. Sweden, isn't that so cool to think that there are people like right now watching us in Sweden? I just think that's cool.
Absolutely nuts.
I know. At Sacred Justice since $4.99, Karen called Jen at 5 saying she left John at the waterfall. Why would she then say she hit him? Jen never asked Karen why they didn't come in 34 that night. That is sketch. Good point, right? That's a great point. Jennifer never asks Karen, what the hell happened to you guys last night?
Yeah. And this is reminding me, we got to answer this question, but it reminds me of what Yuri Buchanan wrote down as the last text message. And this can go to help Karen Reed and Aiden too. When Brian Patrick receives John died and he wrote no response, then the real question is why? Right? It's an open-ended question and it's a deposition, so it's fine. Brian Higgins may come up with some weird answer. Why would you not respond to that?
Mm-hmm. Well, he's going to respond that they thought she killed him.
Okay, so that would be something natural. So I felt so strongly that at that point at 11 a.m. that Karen killed him that I didn't respond. But I went and ran and found an attorney the second I realized that they were going to question me, right? So the real answer is Brian Patrick already knew, and he's distancing himself from everything. When you do something wrong, you want to get far away from it as possible, put it out of your mind. The last thing Brian Patrick needs is a stupid lawsuit bringing everything back up, because now Aiden can find out that exact text message. He can call all of them, subpoena all of them to testify under oath at a deposition or at trial or both, and find out exactly when that is. So this is like absolutely dumb for them to do, but Jen is too vindictive to not realize this, right? And that's
I think they think that like they probably deleted. They probably think that they got rid of anything that would be more damning than they already have, right? I mean, Karen's team already has a certain amount of discovery. The feds have whatever they have. Aside from whatever's already there, they probably think, well, we got rid of everything else. So what are they really going to get on us that we don't already know is out there? I just don't know how you're going to prove, I don't know, to any group of people in the world that Karen, I mean, in order to do that, like literally when you go through their complaint, they are literally pulling total
garbage. It's literally like the stuff in the trash can that they're pulling out and then manipulating in such a way to try to make it sound like they're doing something nefarious. Everybody on earth knows that Aiden believes what he's saying. I mean, there's no question on the planet. The fact that they have to go find a clip from before he even knew who Karen Reed was and then put it out there as though that means he didn't really believe that she's responsible or she's not responsible. It's like, this is what you're going to throw out there for evidence? I cannot see them taking this all the way. I think that they're just trying to basically hurt Aiden any way they can. I don't see them taking this all the way to trial. I don't think they can win. Frankly.
Yeah, I probably disagree that at least some of them believe that they can win. It could be for leverage because they are getting sued themselves. So the best thing you can figure out is a valid way to counter sue, and that's what they've done here in this situation. So they have that going for them. And then the legal question is going to be not whether Aiden just believed it. I truly believe he believes that little Colin Albert was involved. I believe whatever he says, I believe that he believes it. And he didn't just do it flippantly. He did his investigation and got his information. So then the question is going to be, at what level of belief is there in terms of negligence? Now, if we view them as public figures, it has to be intentional that he made this statement knowing that it was false to harm them, right? So if we view them, if the court views them as public figures, that's the standard. So Aiden must know that what he's saying is false and then do it intentionally to harm them. If it's not, then it goes to a negligence standard, whether a reasonable person would find, although he believed it, that is incorrect, factually incorrect. So it's still a hard thing for the plaintiffs to prove one way or another.
Well, what happens if they're not public figures?
Then it goes down to a negligence standard, more likely than not. When I say that that Jen McCabe killed John O'Keefe, then would a reasonable person, more likely than not, believe that statement is true or not? Not just Aiden believed it, but that if you say it, is it reasonable to believe that that's true? So it's a huge difference. So you want them to be viewed as at least temporary public figures.
Yeah.
And we're going to see all that argument play out.
Yeah. Now, the other thing I guess I would say, I mean, like Brian Albert is obviously a public figure. He was on a television show, with Donnie Wahlberg, right? So, but Colin Albert may not be. Now, maybe after the trial, he's escalated or elevated to a public figure because of their performance during the absurd trial that they participated in. But certainly there's a difference. And this is where I don't understand. And I think actually Corey mentioned this at one point, that, like they have different interests. They're not the same. They're not all equal in terms of, right? Like, how does that work? At some point they have one attorney, like, don't you start thinking, hey, wait a minute. I mean, as the attorney for everybody, my advice is, Colin, you should probably separate yourself from this group because you have a different level of, exposure.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And so far, they've always stuck together. If there is a conflict between the plaintiffs, and there probably is, then they could waive it. Technically, you say that you acknowledge that there's a conflict, but I'm waiving it and letting the attorney represent both of us. But then the attorney has ethical obligations to their clients as well. And I mean, there could be a situation where this attorney is disqualified from representing everybody if the conflict is so great and it can't be waived. You have to say that Karen does not believe that little Colin Albert was involved in the death of John O'Keefe. That's what she's telling the world right now. So despite what she told us before, she has the ability to control her attorneys and say, we have to sue little Colin Albert. He was involved. I know he's there.
Sure.
We have the records and he was there. They say no. I mean, she's saying no. So like a lot of people in our community don't want to hear this, but that's what Karen's opinion is. It's different from Aiden's opinion right now. So now they have sort of different opinions as well.
For sure.
If Karen believed that little Colin Albert was involved, he would be named in all of these lawsuits as defendants that she files. That's a tough situation. Right, because then you get the question, Karen. Right, and so now Karen and Aiden have sort of different views as to what's going on. And she's in a different situation because she's involved in litigation at the time. So really everything she's saying is most likely covered. So then they're really going after Aiden. This is sort of a vindictive lawsuit against Aiden, not as much Karen.
Right. That's an important point, right? Because and just in case people don't understand, that's because all of what Karen's attorneys did
during the effort to defend her and everything that came out as a result is protected. So she really can't be held liable for anything that comes out there.
Correct. Very good.
Right. Okay. Right. So you asked a question though, Sacred Justice.
Why would she then say she hit him? So is Sacred Justice really questioning Karen's story?
I think what Sacred Justice is saying is Jen's story, right? So if Karen really said to Jen, because it is confirmed,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Right, that Jen, when Karen first calls Jen, she doesn't remember that she was at 34 Fairview. It's Jen that says, "No, we saw you in front of the house," right? So why would she then say she hit him? Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of controversy about whether she said it at all. Honestly.
All right, forget that for a second, Sam. She's definitive in seeing John at least approach the door. In one interview, she said she sees him go in. Another, she turns her head to look at.
Yep.
But she knows it there. Was she so frantic when she gave that statement to Jen, and I believe to one of the investigators that took down Jen's story, that she didn't even remember going to 34 Fairview?
That morning at 5 a.m., I don't think she does. But you got to remember, so you have to consider any number of variables. First, the night before, when she passes out, she's hysterical. I mean, even if there was no alcohol, which there was, and we saw how much she drank, you know, the prosecution made a huge deal about how much she drank, right? So, okay, if we're factoring that in, then she's wasted and hysterical, thinking that John is with some woman somewhere. Then she wakes up at 4 and realizes he didn't come home. Now she thinks he's dead. I mean, she immediately starts saying he's dead. Immediately, she knows that something is terribly wrong. He would never not come home. She's hysterical, flipping out. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't remember anything about what happened. The last thing she remembers is the waterfall. That makes sense to me.
Okay, so she didn't just get these flashbacks after the fact, you know, because when you're drunk, you forget, but then all of a sudden things start flashing back and you remember certain things. Yeah, so her memory with regard to that, but it's important because she's sort of making the claim that John went into the house and she saw it.
Yeah.
But we know from at least one interview, she definitely said she didn't see him go in. He approaches the door, right? Because this is where you and I have our fork in the road.
Right.
And it's interesting to me because if she saw him legitimately and was credible and saw him go all the way into the house, this changes sort of everything for me. And it could be that. I'm not obtuse to the point where I can't change my hypothesis, right? I just don't have enough to say that he's fully in the house. And I guess part of me still has to deal with the way that Jen was reacting straight away, and like that she would have to be acting. She saw him come in at 12:25 and then has to be acting with regards to the text messages and the calls too, you know, like, and like in her heart and everything's got to be an act for a certain amount of time.
I know it's hard. Believe me, I get it. It's hard to believe, but I guess the way that Jen McCabe perceives it, which makes sense, it aligns with everything we know about Jen, is that she's protecting her family. And I think that's what she thinks she's doing. This is her sister's house. It's her brother-in-law, who she's known since kindergarten. And even when she says that on the witness stand, you can see in her eyes, you know, she looks up to, that's her brother. She thinks of Brian Albert as a brother. So whether Colin is there or not, and he is, so, you know, she's absolutely protecting the people in that house. I mean, I think she thinks she's doing that immediately. And that's the incentive. I mean, you know, there's no way. I wish there was some way around it. But again, based on their testimony, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, these guys can't save their own lives with their testimony. It's so unbelievably, I don't even know what the word is. It's just egregiously deceptive all the way through. And not only that, I mean, the time of the crime, everybody has a nervous breakdown at the time of the crime. All of them simultaneously at the moment that Ryan Nagel's in front of that house, that moment is like so part and parcel to each of these witnesses as the moment that John O'Keefe loses his life. And you can see it all over everyone. It's crazy. It's crazy. It was crazy to go through it all and crazy to see it. Even knowing this is what this case always freaks me out because, I mean, how long have we been talking about this now, right? But still, a few weeks ago, I'm going through their statements and I'm like, what the fuck? Like they really did this. You know what I mean? It's terrifying when you think about what these people did.
And I say this knowing that Jen McCabe perjured herself on the stand. She lied a lot under oath about significant things on the stand. Just for the Jeep, for example, is one of them. So I know she's a liar. She's willing to lie, can lie, and have no problem doing it. It's just getting over the real big lie, the real reason why she's lying is where I'm just not at with regard to proof. Do you believe that all the kids in Ricky's truck heard the invitation to come inside?
No, they did not.
Interesting.
No.
See, now, do we have the Heather saying that she heard the invitation?
Yeah, so I actually brought this up on a live stream a few weeks ago. I have all of the video ready to analyze, but it's interesting because when I first did an analysis of Heather, the whole first part of her testimony, she comes across as just like really honest and really forthcoming. And then we have this sort of, moment where she starts it starts with, I have to go back and double check. It starts with when she's asked if she saw John go into the house. Her answer to that is kind of a red flag. I forget what exactly she says. But then the most discrepant statement from everything else that she says the entire time is the story that she gives. And you'll laugh at this, I think, when you see it, Vince, because it's so discrepant, right? So if I'm doing a baseline, I'm analyzing her versus her. All of a sudden, she gives us this completely absurd statement about how Julie, we chit-chatted and she asked about whether we wanted to come in. And I just said no. Ricky tells us that Julie didn't even speak to Heather, that it was just Ricky and Ryan and that they immediately said no. I mean, like they're all saying very different things is the point. Okay. But even if you're doing a baseline comparison themselves to themselves when they're answering the questions about the invite, they're obviously lying. And I didn't even think to analyze Ryan for deception until I got to the very end, after I finished the innocence analysis, after I finished Colin, and then I went back to look for him verifying something, I forget what, and then I saw it so clear. It was like, oh my God, like what's happening with Ryan? Ryan has two objectives. He's trying to make it sound like there was less time between when he arrived and when she came out. So they're trying to make that time shorter. The truth is, it doesn't really need to be any shorter because 5 minutes is plenty of time for him to go in, get in a fight, and lose his life, right? I mean, become unconscious. But they're trying to shorten that window. He does not want us to know that he sent a follow-up text that said, are you coming out or what? We're going to leave. He does not want us to know that, right? So
how do we know that for certain?
I mean, I'd have to go through and show you.
No, but have you ever seen the text, or he
verifies it, she verifies it, they all verify it, despite the fact that they do not want to. Let me tell you, like Yannetti pulls that out of Julie, she fights tooth and nail, and then Ryan verifies it. So it's definitely. I mean, these people don't want to be telling us that, right? They really fight it all the way. And then Jen confirms it. I'm sorry, Jennifer confirms it.
Right. So what benefit do they have with regard to that text, the follow-up one?
To who?
To either side.
Well, because it shows that Ryan was waiting outside for her. So here's what really happened. This is just from a lot of heavy analysis on this very specific time period. What actually happened was Julie texts Ryan between 12:15 and 12:20 and says, all right, I'm ready to go home. So then he texts her at 12:23 from Cedar Crest and says, all right, we're here, so that she was ready when they got there. So then they pull up, they're out front, and they're waiting, and she doesn't come out. Then he sends a follow-up text and he just says, we're going to leave. Then she comes out. Then at 12:27, Jen sends the first text to John.
Gotcha. What seemed odd to me was that they were both at that intersection, Karen and Ricky, and Ricky's sort of claims, or they're trying to claim that they're following right behind Karen, which would mean that if you saw John get out of the car, everyone would see it. And you know that Lally forced this with the flashing of the lights, you know, and the people in the suburbs do that, like you flash the lights and you let them go. Ricky forgot about it. Ryan Nagel was pretty insistent on that, and they asked Heather about it. She had no fucking clue because she didn't know what that meant or what Lally wanted to say that they were following right behind them, and had John got out of the vehicle, they would have seen it. Clearly, there was more gap and enough time for John to just hop out, which is very quick, and get there. But thank God, Heather said that when she passed by, not only did she not see John, she saw John when they were at the intersection. So in the vehicle at 12:24, but not when they leave, whatever time that is. John is not in the vehicle, and the lights on the inside. That's critical.
And she also tells us what you're saying, which is that they were not in front the whole way. So it's interesting. So I did the maps, the Google Maps street view of that drive, because I remembered it being a very short distance from the turn on to Fairview to 34, but it's not as short as I thought. It's actually considerably longer. So they had time to, and Karen's a faster driver to me. You know, I just kind of have learned to know that about Karen, that she drives a little fast. So she probably was considerably ahead of them, enough for John just to quickly jump out and run into the house for them not to see. However, I will tell you that Heather shows some signs of deception when asked if she saw John get out of the car. So it's possible that they're lying. Now, I will tell you, I hate, you know, having to say it, but they are lying. I mean, the three of them are covering up for Julie. And I always go back to this statement that Brian Albert made, like, oh, it would take 50 people. I think he's mocking us there. I think he actually is telling us the truth and thinks it's funny because, oh, it would take 50 people. And actually, I think not maybe 50, but a lot of people did know, and a lot of people were helping in the effort. And I think those three absolutely turned a blind eye and lied on the stand, commit perjury for Julie.
Brian Albert said in the ABC interview that you realize it would take between 30 and 50 people for this conspiracy to be true. I believe he's saying that strictly because he wants us to seem like it's so odd that this could actually be like it's a conspiracy theory. It doesn't take that many at all. Whether you believe the kids knew or not, it only took two in reality. Now they needed Berkowitz, so three maximum. To actually minimum, to have this done. It's not 50. It's not even the state police. You don't need the state police to do this. You just need a couple of dopes.
No, you don't. I don't. Yes, correct. All true, and true about his intent. But he's a ball buster. Like his sense of humor, like he thinks this shit is funny. It's like the testimony campaign, right? Like they're actually, Jennifer McCabe is documented in intimidating witnesses. Like she actually threatened outright Karina Kolakithis. She actually threatens people outright in Canton. Like they are the biggest bullies on the planet. So it's absolutely absurd that they are trying to say that they are the poster children for witness intimidation, but that's kind of also Brian Albert's sense of humor. Like if you get to know him and how he is, that's the kind of shit that he thinks is funny, is like straight up to our face, like, you know, kind of mocking us.
Really? Because I don't view him as intellectually funny at all.
Well, but that's him, how he is, though. I'm not saying that he is intellectually funny. I just think that's, he is. He's totally like a ball buster.
Remember when I did send Melanie Little that super chat during that other hearing with the blonde woman and their kid. I either wrote guilty or not guilty, whatever the opposite was, and I sent it to you girls. Like, and then everyone attacked me, and like I thought that was funny, right? Like, but I don't think he's that type of annoying funny.
He's not annoying funny.
So he thinks like that, like he doesn't know that that's annoying funny. He just thinks that this is a mock to us when he
like
says
a big F you. It's not annoying funny. I don't think he's trying to be.
I get like attack. Like yeah, I get you.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? His sense of humor is kind of like edgy. It's edgier. It's not
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I've been doing this for so long. You know where maybe I started? You have to go through his testimony line by line. If you go through, Sergio does an incredible line by line analysis of Brian Albert, but he only goes up to like before the moment of the crime. So he goes all the way up until like they arrive at 34 Fairview, and then he didn't finish it. But if you watch all of that, you'll get I think that's probably where I started to get a sense of like his personality. Like, yeah, he's kind of like a ball buster. I don't know how else to say it.
But like for your dad, for example, I would say that he's like a New York City intellectual comedian, if you have to say that, when it comes to his jokes. Like, his shaft jokes. And
Yeah,
then,
sure,
Like that
yeah.
takes more intelligence than just saying, "Oh, you got to shave your balls to make them look bigger." Like your dad's doing it in a less crass way, right? So
Sure.
there's some intellectual ability in terms of comedy. I just don't see Brian Albert
It's not
as a
like
comedian.
that. It's not like
yeah,
that.
it's not, right? It's got to be
It's not like
something
that.
more crass, I guess, for him.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I'm trying to think of an example. Next time we meet, I will have an example for what I mean by this. Because you see it over and over again, like in his personality, but it's hard for me to like, right off the top of my head, remember where the basis of that sort of idea of who he is kind of was built. Just because he was the first person I did any kind of analysis of from the very beginning, is Brian Albert. So I feel like I've just kind of like known him the longest, if that sounds odd to say, but as a person. And the reason why that is because, like, to me, the very first thing that sent off all the alarm bells is that you have the oldest son of a family of 7 from Boston, the Irish Boston family, from a suburb of Boston, from those, like, it's like the urban sprawl from South Boston, which I understand what that means. I understand what that is. You have the oldest of 7. Then you have the house that he was raised in. Okay, this is his parents' house that he was bestowed because he's the oldest, which tells you everything you need to know about this family structure, how they viewed him. You have the person that he presents himself as in Boston's finest. This is like the man, like he's the alpha. Brian Albert is exactly what he looks like he is, right? You're going to tell me that this man did not know that they were on his front lawn? Like, there's no world ever. There's no possible way that that's true. It's period. Nope. Like, didn't happen, right?
Yeah, if you think about it, right? Think about February 1st. He leaves the house. He opens that door, right, to go to his car. There was a dead body there, John O'Keefe's body, 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
And, right, like, the whole crime scene's right in front of you. And a few days later, Eagle-Eyed Berkowitz is going to find even more evidence that is so critical to this case. So you're literally walking past that crime scene. It must be so odd for him to know that this is where we placed the body, this is where we planted certain things, and to every day, every hour, have to look at it and see it. And that will eat on you as a person. And that's a great point that you're making. It's like, this house was supposed to be in that family forever. They had to get rid of it. The telltale heart, right? It's beating there. It is just eats you up. And I'm not being facetious when I say things like that. Psychologically, it will eat the fuck out of you. This guy isn't as tough as you think he is. Mentally, physically, I don't view Brian Albert, Chubbs I call him, as tough at all. And I will not refer to him as like a mafia. I don't like Aiden's attorney saying they're coming in like mafia. They came in there, and it's an embarrassment to them, actually, for them showing up there. I'll tell you why, because there's no need for them to be there. They have no reason to be there, yet they all felt compelled to be there as this group. It's embarrassing as a litigant to be there when your opponent is not showing up. The cool move is to not show up when you don't have to. In divorce cases, they mandate the parties be there because it's all about them. And without them being there, they'll never understand the judge's decision. Here, they are so far removed at this point, especially at the beginning, that showing up is an embarrassment. And they don't even know it, Sam. They have no idea. They thought this was this big thing. It's embarrassing from a legal standpoint for your clients to be there.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I think they felt like they needed to make a statement of some kind. But the thing to me, and I actually think that if it had just been on the lawn,
If this had just happened on the lawn or outside, I don't think that they would have sold that house because they knew how bad it looked. To me, they sold that house because you had a man die in your family room. There's no freaking chance that you're keeping that house, right? So, to me, that's my personal opinion.
Well,
obviously,
yeah. Yeah. If you're right about that fork, then yeah, now you got a location literally where John was laying and bleeding out profusely. So that's a huge issue, obviously, to come down every day. And I mean, you can almost detach when it's sort of to the right of the house.
Exactly.
But that's interesting.
Yeah. And they sold it right away. I mean, you know how long it takes for, to get ready to sell a house. That house was gone almost like 13 months later. It was out of their hands. Like they must have immediately decided, okay, because it takes a while to sell a home. You have to, you have to make sure the house is up to speed. You got to make the changes to the house, fix it up, whatever. Then you got to put it on the market. You got to list it. You got to find a realtor, the whole thing. And they did it in 13 months.
Which is funny because Miss Judy, the Asian attorney, and Anthony Cumia and Poker Mike. I saw them this weekend, and I was speaking to her about first the Asian house quotation that I was explaining how Dave Yannetti was trying to utilize that to make Ronnie, the juror who was the only Asian one at the time, sort of feel that they're being discriminatory against. But like I said, all Asians say Asians. It is not discriminatory in any way. Like Asians don't care if you say it's because it's an Asian house. They'll say it's Asian. But more importantly, we know that an Asian purchased the house and was doing it sort of as a financial investment. And Miss Judy's dad would do that too. He's a doctor, but they would go around purchasing like shitty homes. So the immediacy of it is not as important to someone who wants to hold it long term or even flip it. And the fact that she didn't know about the killing is weird, but
crazy
culturally, right? Like if she's not involved in any of this white mainstream media type thing. But more importantly, I want to get, and we will get that person who owns it on here, or we will go there to that house because there's so much that lies in physically seeing that house. And that brings us back to what Karen was saying about the buffalo on the prairie. Like, how could anyone have missed John's body laying there? But more importantly, Sam, like I said, I want to see the entrances, and could it have been possible with all the confusion of adults coming in and just 3 of the kids there that somehow John made it in there without anyone really seeing? I just don't I can't imagine that it would be, especially with Jen just getting there, but I just physically I don't see how that could be possible.
It is possible. I mean, it's physically possible, but it didn't happen. But it is physically possible. It's possible that he could have been in the house through the front door and just directly into the basement, because the distance between the front door and the basement door are pretty close. So he could have sped in Brian Higgins. That was my original thought, by the way. My original belief way back was like, oh, Higgins probably just said, hey, hey, let me talk to you, and immediately pulled him into the house, and they went into the basement or wherever. But for me, it's their language that completely debunks all of it. They give it away. I mean, what a disgrace these people are. Let me get to some of these, dear, so we don't leave everybody hanging. At Holly Johnson, VD6LV. Hi, Holly Johnson's a member for 6 months. If you were Karen, would you not be embarrassed if you had sunk into to the level of needing attention for Brian Higgins? Absolutely. I get it. I'm sure she wanted that memory to disappear. Yeah, Holly, good point. Fair enough.
It's not fair to criticize Karen, though. This is someone that she was attracted to based upon just physicality, right? She had to go out drinking with her boyfriend at the time, and this was the only other guy that was there for the most part. So
yeah, sure.
This is what it is. I don't look.
Well, but she's saying from Karen's perspective, not from ours.
Look, Karen liked him for whatever the reason. So I just don't want to shame her, Karen, for liking someone just because you think Higgins is not. I mean, I don't think Higgins is bad. Look, I just
no. I don't think that's what she's saying though. What she's saying is Karen is probably embarrassed, not that we are embarrassed for Karen. I think that's true. I think that is why she hit it.
I guess. I mean, girls are embarrassed if they hook up with me. My first girlfriend, Laura Hans, the first girl that I kissed ever, she denied that we made out in 6th grade in the art room for like 5 months.
That's hilarious. At Villanelle27 is a member for 3 months. Would like your opinion on Natalie S. IMO. She has more problems than Mackenzie. Mackenzie will not grow with her around. Yes, it's a terrifying situation.
I have
Absolutely.
no idea what that means.
Natalie Shirla. So this is about the Mackenzie Shirla case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I do know what that means. I thought you meant like that. Isn't there like a Natalie attorney in this whole world with Turtle Boy? I don't know.
Probably, but I don't remember who that is off the top of my head. If I should, right now I'm blanking because I have Natalie Shirla in my head so clearly that it's like I can't think of anybody else.
I have to quickly thank Canton John for all the amazing insight this guy gives me. And, he has his show. He had Lucky on the show. Just a great guy. My new best friend once Kevin dumped me. No, but just the insight, because I can always ask him, and he knows everything about this case.
Amazing,
all
right?
the fucking details that I have no idea. So thanks, Canton John.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people like that. I feel like there's a lot of like folks that have been on this from the very beginning that are locals and do have so much valuable insight because they've been on it from the beginning. Villanelle, I will try to loop back to this, but the short answer is yes, she's a sick pup. I mean, they're all very sick people, but she's a very sick person because she keeps placating her daughter. It's extreme codependency, extreme enabling. She's held both of her parents hostage for so long, and they just keep feeding it. It's
what was
horrible.
the sentence that she got?
15 to life.
And is there a possibility of parole after 15 or half of that?
Yeah, after 15. After 15. Yep.
Interesting.
So, but they are trying everything they can to appeal and trying to say that it was Dom. And I will say that their lawyer was a disaster. They made a lot of mistakes, but they went with a bench trial, which was a huge mistake.
Huge for that. Huge. Oh my God, that judge was not having any of it.
No, and good for her, but it was like they didn't even put on a defense. It was just terrible. But anyway, at Pat's Lover Bobby, member for 4 months. Hey, Sam and Loophole, getting on late, but looking forward to the conversation. Thank you for being here with us, Pat's Lover Bobby. I know we're way behind. At Holly Johnson, since 1999. Why in God's name didn't the McAlberts not call an ambulance for John? They could have made up a story of self-defense. I know. Well, this is a great point. I mean, I think it's a really important point. Both Brian and Brian later destroyed their phones. I wonder if there was illegal activity they were hiding. I mean, even if they weren't, and I've always believed there wasn't because of the fact that the presence of the kids in the house. I just don't see Brian Albert putting his children in harm's way, like having drugs or something in the house. But you have to remember they were way intoxicated. These are two law enforcement professionals who understood immediately the situation and what it looked like. And to all these people's points about like pensions and reputations, it's like, I guess from their perspective, as these people who want to be thought of as highly respected law enforcement professionals, they may feel they have more to lose than we see. I look at it and I say, you guys could have just told the cops anything and they would have believed it, but they may not have felt that way on that at that time.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's something weird about suburban white people where they are taught not to report car accidents because their insurance rates will go up. Like these are the things that they hold in higher regard for some weird reason. I've never seen it before, but it's just on the suburbs. And they could have been thinking about lawsuits and other things. But you know what I love, Sam, about investigations that I fall asleep to? I listen to the interrogations. It's that what the little things we fear, like drunk driving or drugs, when you're dealing with murder, they don't give a shit about any of that, right? Like when you're talking about an investigator, they'll even tell you, I'm not here because you were doing cocaine. I'm here because there's a murder. Like this puts in a whole nother category. Whether they could understand that at the time, most likely they could because they deal with murder and investigations. Both these guys did their entire careers.
I know.
So it's different than you and I killing someone.
It is.
I
think that's
pansy. Yeah, I would have.
That's right. At Holly Johnson, VD6LV since 999. Is it possible Brian and Brian were on the take? Maybe that's why their first intention was to cover everything up and frame somebody else. I just don't think so, simply because, like I said, anything nefarious or illicit that they were up to wouldn't have been happening that night in the house with Brian Jr. and Caitlin living at the house. Like he's just not going to engage in illicit activity with those kids in that house. So maybe, but just not that night.
And what kind of cool illicit activity would they really be doing? You saw them drinking. They want to drink and get buzzed and drive drunk.
Yeah, I don't know. At Stuttering John Corleone sends $2. Little Vince Blue, he didn't even need the money. What's he
Do you
talking
know what that
about?
reference is to?
No.
Andrew Dice Clay and his nursery rhymes, Little Boy Blue, because he needed the money.
No. At Mary McDonough 3321 sends $10. Vince, please stop trolling Melanie. She called you out on Memorial Day. I don't think Sam would appreciate you harassing her. Definitely don't harass Melanie Little, please.
It wasn't Memorial Day. This was like, well, whenever that case was going on.
I don't know what case you're talking about.
The one with the cop that shot
Thanks,
the other
Mary.
cop. You do. I forgot her name though.
Shot that cop that shot
The
another
female
cop.
blonde cop that had the baby.
Why do I not have any? Oh, Kelly. You're talking about not Kelsey. Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Kelsey.
Yeah, whatever they ever wanted, whatever I wrote either
Kelsey.
guilty or not. I sent you that text message. Yeah, Melanie
Yeah,
flipped
yeah.
out.
Now
but
I
was
remember.
just fucking around. She
Now I
gets
remember.
crazy quickly. But yeah, I mean that was a long time ago though.
It was. At Really Tea with Krista Marie. I like that. Sends $10. It's sick that McAlbert's ingratiated into the lives of. I know. So you know what? I will tell you something. This is a really good point, Krista Marie. I love the name, Krista Marie. This is such a good point because if you're capable of that, then you know what? You are capable of immediately trying to cover the death of a police officer. So this is helpful because I never really directly connected these, but you know what? That's true. If I'm somebody who is such a piece of absolute garbage that in order to make myself look more innocent, I am going to ingratiate myself to the family of the guy that my family just murdered. That is such a despicable, disgusting, horrific, horrendous thing to do that, yeah, you know what? You are capable of immediately not calling 911 and immediately looking to cover your own ass and immediately thinking, oh, I better make it look like this guy left the house. You know, it's because you're right. That's who these people are. I don't think that, here's the thing, Krista Marie, about John's family. I think it's really sad. It's possible that maybe someday, like a friend or two, you know, maybe, because I think some of his friends really think of themselves as smart people. So I think that I think there's a few that might struggle with this more than others, but I don't see her ever coming off the high horse. I mean, think about how hard that would be. It's terrifying. Could you imagine actually believing that these people who have been coming to your house and taking your grandkids around and, you know, acting like they're your friends? Like, can you imagine believing that they had your son murdered?
Yeah, unfortunately, I sort of know a Peg O'Keefe in my life, and whatever they originally believe, they're never coming off of, regardless of what evidence you show them.
Exactly. That's right. No matter what, the feds could sit them down with the images and videos, and they wouldn't. I agree with you there. Madeira is a new member. Madeira, I feel like you've been a member forever. I can't even believe that you're a new member. But welcome back.
You have a lot of young fans. Oh well, hello.
Your
Who's the
dad's favorite
opposite?
mom sends $9.99. Yuri did question Brian about the text when they first interviewed him. Yes, he did. Yuri testifies in trial 1 that he warned Brian if the texts were deleted, they would see them in Karen. Yeah, he does warn him. He does.
And he writes that. Actually, I didn't include it in this, but there was something interesting with regard to Yuri saying that Brian Higgins became emotional when he said the phrase that he wished he did see John because of his ability to save him. He could have potentially saved him. And then Yuri wrote, that's when he became emotional. So it's interesting, and we got to analyze that as well. This is the handwritten notes, not the written, because in the written notes, Yuri said that he becomes emotional with regard to the kissing of Karen and the whole texting of that type of thing. Like things changed. The mood changed in the interview.
Oh, did he say that? I didn't read that.
Yeah. I got to go back to both. So like you have the handwritten notes now, and then you have also the written report. And so your thing that you would like is both say, where are you, quote unquote, as a text message, which for Yuri Buchanek to not follow up and get the actual text message, are you coming here followed by 3 question marks is negligence to the highest extreme.
Think about how crazy that is.
Yeah, it is crazy that that's what occurred. But again, you also have Yuri writing kill too. So these are all interesting things that are going on that are very fresh in their minds. That's what I love. Not writing something, but actually the handwritten notes as they're hearing them is so critical for evidence.
I agree. I think that's fair. And, remember, he's still up their asses with their whole Testify campaign posts and everything else. So Kate from Rhode Island's been a member for 4 months. Happy anniversary, Kate. John was playing that Coldplay song on the way to 34. Pretty sure he knew what was going on. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? It's a really chilling song to be playing on repeat, certainly on your phone, right? I mean, in retrospect, isn't it amazing? Like it does kind of feel this. The same thing happened in the Mackenzie Shirley case, where like the kids were calling their parents at 3 a.m. saying "I love you." It does make you wonder, like how I don't have any sense that she was doing anything nefarious at that time. I think it's just maybe human instinct. It's bizarre.
I've had a girl play a song for me after a fight, and I can recall a song. I told you this before. Kristen Piccioni, Kristen number 2 that I dated, we were in a fight. She was younger, but she did play this song when I was there intentionally, basically saying like, I was like, I'm not a perfect person. I don't know how the song, that was the lyrics, but she was doing it intentionally. I don't know if John was playing this intentionally. This is the first time I heard the song. It is very poignant, this song. When you listen to it, there's a lot of different correlations between the two. Whether he's doing it on purpose, absolutely, I'm not sure.
I agree. That's why I'm saying. I mean, I think it is eerie, Kate. It's a really good point. Madeira sends $10, says, imagine Karen and Brian watching your streams and what's going through their brains. It's funny because Chris is featured on our new Spaces again, jumping on, Chris Albert, listening to one of his friendly stations. And he's talking about how he's been listening for a while. And I just think, wow, I bet you some of these people do listen. I don't know why. I certainly wouldn't if I were them. But I think that they want to know what's going on and what people are saying about them, which, again, terrible idea. But who knows? I think, it's got to be terrifying. It's got to be terrifying. Like, Madeira, I'll tell you this really quick. When we started talking about him going into the house, right, there was a big group of us that all of a sudden were like, maybe he did go into the house, right, or just around the same time. And when then somebody from the other side posted a picture of them in the kitchen, I was like, because I was saying that they were in the family room. I don't know who posted that. I don't know who thought it was a good idea, but man, that was like, oh, wow. Like if you're listening enough to hear any one of us, anyone, not maybe me, but anyone, even on X, saying, oh, they must have been in the family room. And then you're posting a picture in the kitchen. It's like, could you be more, like, could that possibly be more of a clue to keep going? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
It's insane.
Well, we know for certain Karen does watch our show, and through various channels, that guy Nick reached out and wants to speak with me. And I told you I have just zero interest in speaking with them directly for whatever reason. And I know you had said, well, don't be mean to him. I'm not mean or not. I just don't have any interest. Like I have interest in solving this case, yeah, but maybe one day we'll get into that whole issue.
Well, I hope that's true. I mean, I would hope that Karen watches. That would be amazing. I'd be very honored. I don't know that. If that's true, that's amazing. But yeah, I don't know. You never know. I mean, who knows who's watching us? Could be, who knows? At the Helena, sends $65. Sam, I sent you a song. Oh, I made about Karen and John. Love the neuters. Love your specials. Your channel is amazing. Hearts from Sweden. Oh, yay. The Helena, is that 2? That was not Helena, earlier, right? That's 2 people from Sweden, I think. I don't think that was Helena.
I'm like Mr. Helena. B. When I hear Sweden, I just think of like blonde supermodels in bathing suits. Like your dad would think the same thing. Yeah.
Well,
Sweden?
That's true. My dad probably would think that. Yeah, you're right. I have like no. I'm pretty neutral. Kiki 3JS sends $4.99. And why didn't Jennifer send John a message saying, "Why did y'all leave?" And why
she was sort of saying that. She never questioned why. Because she's saying, pull up behind me. She's saying, here, question mark.
Good question.
Where are you, she says. Right?
Yeah, or call Karen.
Well, right? She's not going to call Karen. She's really just communicating with John. She called John at 12:18, at 12:14, she called him again at 12:32, right? And
Yeah,
then
but if
even
you're
after-
really concerned, you know what I'm saying? If you're really concerned.
It's interesting. I mean, you're married, you know, you get into like these stupid fights over nothing, and then you don't go in. Like, there's always a thing in marriages. I'm not going in there. So, like, I think Jen even said that, and I sort of agree with her with regard to that. But
Yeah,
she's definitely
it's
calling
possible.
John.
It's not impossible, but she's so full of shit. I mean, you can't argue this. I mean, how could you possibly argue this? She's saying that during that time, she's getting up and texting John and looking at him in the car going, you know, are you here? Question mark, park behind me. Karen is gone. After the first text, Karen is no longer there.
There are a few, and there are times when she claims that she saw him, but then I'm not 100% certain in her testimony. That's what she's saying. So
I mean, she walked it all back. Trial number 1, she absolutely confirms. I mean, she confirms it outright. You can go back and watch. I have. That's why I know it for sure. But she says, I mean, Jackson gets her to confirm it because during the grand jury, this is why Adam Lally in his opening statement, they went with Jennifer's story. That's why it was 12:45. He himself didn't realize that his own investigators twice had her leaving at 12:30 because Nick Garino stands up. She has to be back by 12:36 because of the wireless. And then Jessica Hyatt tells us that the Coldplay song is disconnecting at 12:30. So Karen is gone at 12:30, period. Full stop. There's no other story. That's the time she's out. Jen, after the 12:27 text, the next text is also after 12:30. So originally I picked up when I did an analysis years ago at this point, a long time ago, that the first 2 texts for Jennifer were different than the rest. And that's true because she knew that they were possibly within the window that Karen was still in front of the house. That's what made the first 2 texts different. However, even the second text, she's not in front of the house anymore. She's already gone. So, I mean, that right, like I said, by itself, if I'm an investigator, that would have sent alarms off, you would think, to investigate her. Like, why is she lying like this? It's such an outright lie. I mean, she's literally has a whole story. Matt confirms it. Brian Jr. confirms her bullshit story about them getting up and looking out the storm door. Like, I mean, they're just, anyway. That's the other thing, you guys. I mean, Vince, it's not just Jen. It's not just Jen. It's not just Jen and Matt. It's not just Jen and Matt and Brian Jr. It's not just Jen and Matt and Brian Jr. and Caitlin. It's not just Jen, Matt, Brian Jr., Caitlin, and Sarah Levinson. It's not just Jen, Matt, Brian Jr., Caitlin, Sarah Levinson, and Julie Nagel. They're all lying outright and in an extreme way the entire time they're talking. So at a certain point, it's like, I hear you and I know how hard it is. Believe me, I get it. There's just no way to get around it. You're like, there's no other possibility, but why else would they all be colluding like this, right? Why else would you be lying? There's no other possible explanation. Why the fuck does Caitlin care if we know she's living at the house or at like, who cares? Why would you lie about that? Who gives a shit whether you're at the house or not? You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to go on a rant, but you know what I'm saying. At Villanelle27 sends $7.99. Hey guys, watching from Australia. Oh, that's exciting. I got up at 3 a.m. Oh my God. Vince, somebody got up at 3 a.m. is watching us. That's incredible.
Next time you can tell us what you're wearing, though. Make it a little more interesting.
Oh, stop. That's amazing. Much love to you. And thank you. Thank you for
My
your
God
support.
knows what you heard
pretty
by
amazing.
Mr. B when you were growing up because you tolerate a lot of shit from me.
I just tuned
nothing
it out.
compared to him. I mean,
oh my God,
am I?
the embarrassment is unimaginable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
I
God.
mean, you have no idea. The shit, not just when I was a kid. I mean, I worked at the WFM with my father for 10 years. Not always every day, but I worked at the station for 10 years and would be with him periodically because his producer often took days off and they'd, you have no idea. You just can't even imagine. Anyway, at Trish1126. Thanks, Sam and Vince. Thanks, Trisho1126. Thank you so much for being a member for 3 months. You're amazing. At Elena Stansby 9940 sends 10 pounds. Karen knows something and is hiding it about Colin, just like she has hidden the details about her and Brian. Yeah, possible. It's not impossible, Elena. I think it's tough with Karen because Karen has always been, and I think we learned this from Aiden, and I'm trying to be, I know we're at time, I'm trying to be expeditious, but Karen has
always been very intentional with her words. That's why her and Aiden ultimately had a fallout, because he wasn't doing the things that she wanted him to do. She's very specific and deliberate. Everything she says is intentional, really. So that's why you're going to get competing statements from her at different times, because, you know, at different times, I think her intentions have changed and stuff. So it's hard to know what to make of what Karen's saying sometimes, because I do think it's all very intentional. Does that make sense?
You're 100% right. And that's why, with just regard to the Asian comment, in her political correct mind, this was going to be a big get on the witness, right? The fact that they use Asians as, and this is just a little example, but it's a perfect example where no one else really would have that type of saying, but she was in this corporate educational culture thinking this is going to be such a huge thing, and it just wasn't. And I agree with what you're saying there.
Well, and Karen said that a lot, not just about, you know, that kind of comment, but just in general. There was a lot of things that she said, they were big aha moments when they learned about him, but then in court, because of the court procedure and the judge and sidebars, it just gets watered down. Like, it just doesn't come across in the aha that you think it should. At Kiki 3JS sends $4.99. Karen doesn't remember being there, so does Jen say y'all were there? John got out. I bet you hit him. She doesn't know, because at that point, Jen is not invested in Karen at all. She's not even thinking about Karen. She has no desire to frame it on Karen. Everything that she does in that way is later. It's after the fact, after the Minion meeting, after Karen is already gone. So there's no intent to frame Karen until after she sits down with Brian Higgins, which is interesting, and Brian Albert, and they're all together in that kitchen, allegedly in the kitchen that morning. Probably they are in the kitchen. I would believe that at that point, for a number of reasons. So, you know what I'm saying? At the time, there was no intent to frame Karen until they find out about the taillight. Once they know about the taillight, that's when they decide to frame Karen, which makes sense, right? At Your Other Karen sends $4.99. Hi, y'all. Random question. Could this be an accident between John and Brian 1 or 2, and possibly told other Brian, but no one else? Curious.
Yes. There could have been a quote unquote accident, which I believe that this sort of is. Even if it was a fight, it wasn't never intended for John to get killed. And there's a chance that only 1 or 2 or none or all of them knew. I mean, it has to be one of those.
No chance. My answer is, it was an accident. It was a fight. It was an accident. The dog was obviously involved, and there's no chance that they all don't know. That's my personal opinion based on analysis of their testimony. I mean, I guess in the theoretical world of possible futures, anything is possible, but there's no chance based on their testimony, because if they really didn't know, there is no reason whatsoever on the planet to be deceptive. You would go in there and you would, with your head held high, tell everything you knew proudly. You wouldn't flinch at the defense team, cross-examination. These people are all as full of shit as you could possibly be, committing perjury. There's no reason to do that otherwise, in my opinion. So is it possible? Anything is possible, but I don't see how. At Kelly Marone 6784 since 1999, FOIA charts say JN and SL leave with RN. Okay. JN. Why am I blanking on Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson?
Sarah Levinson. Okay.
Leave with Ryan. FOIA charts say Julie, not the McCabe's. Where do you see that?
I've never seen that, but I will look for that if that is true.
Well,
but I haven't
that's a
seen
lie. If they say that, I will look for that. But if they say that, that's a lie, because they did not leave with Ryan Nagel. They were told they were staying. So I could see a world, though, Kelly, where they originally try to say that they left with Ryan and then later realize they're not going to get away with it and then tell the truth. That I could see. Because they all lie. In the very beginning, the people in the house, Brian Albert, Nicole, Jen, and Matt, tried to make it seem like none of the kids were in the house. They tried to make it sound like nobody was there. Not Caitlin, not Colin, not anybody. And then they realized, I guess at some point, like they're not going to get away with it. I don't know why, but they all changed their tune pretty quickly after that, except for with Colin. At Your Other Karen sends $4.99. I guess you're Karen. The sale of the home points to Albert versus Little Higgy. Thank you both. Say this out loud for me.
It does. With regard to culpability, who is criminally liable. Yeah, but I always believe that Brian Albert has some culpability, although I don't definitively say it like Brian Higgins because he didn't have a motive.
He has to. I mean, just their behavior after the fact. He has to, and to put your whole family, in harm's way. Like you have to, right? I mean, to me, you have to. At Karen sends another $4.99. At Holly coming from another Karen, she could care less. At Holly coming
from another Karen, maybe in terms of Higgins, she could care less.
What do you mean?
Meaning that if this was during the whole Brian Higgins and Karen talking, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know.
Madeira sends $10. The Albert brothers already used their 2 get out of jail free cards. Yeah, you would think. But I don't know that they did, right? I mean, obviously not. They cashed in on all 3. What a terrible human beings. And probably their shit we don't even know, Madeira. Would you be surprised? At Villanelle sends $7.99. My house just sold in less than a month. So to me, it's not the 13 months after the murder. It's the fact it was the family. Absolutely.
Yep. 100%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, what that said to me, because they did have to make, they did have to change things to the house. They had to redo some of the floors. So there were changes that were made. That's why I said that the time span, like it had to be a decision that they made before they sold it. But that's a good point that it could have been a pretty quick decision.
The guilty flee when no one's chasing.
What does that mean?
The guilty flee when no one's chasing. It's
the guilty flee.
From a Bible verse or a movie quote. But either way, it is true.
Yeah, 100%. At R3639 sends $4.99. The only true emotion Jen showed on the stand was about brushing her teeth at the FBI because of her lies to them. She is stone cold. She is pretty freaking cold. I would agree with you there, right? 100%. Got a Bad Feeling sends $9.99. Another amazing live. Thank you both for never ever giving up on John. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, Got a Bad Feeling, for supporting us. I think you know how we feel about that. We're probably never giving up on John, not until we see justice, even if we're old and gray. I hope that is not the case, though. My God. What do you think? Do you think that we'll ever see justice for John?
Yes, 100%. This is not like the Donna Sue Adelson and everyone wanting Wendy Jill to be arrested, which I called properly that she will never be arrested because there just wasn't enough evidence to show that she was guilty. Here's a different situation.
Yeah, I agree. At Kara Mills 0106 sends $5. I feel Karen may have been using Higgins to make John jealous. Yeah. Oh, I think that's definitely a possibility. What do you think?
It's just risky because it's John's friend. I mean, there are other ways to make him jealous. I don't think Karen even wanted to make John jealous. She just wanted to have what she wanted in the relationship, which she probably would never got. But could she have gotten John jealous? Yeah, of course, that can get him jealous. But is she thinking long term that this is going to help my relationship with John? I don't know.
It's an interesting question. I mean, I think I could see it. I know what you're saying. And because of Aruba, but she was trying actively not to show John. Like, she tries to stay away from Higgins. If she was trying to actively make him jealous, she could have done it. So it's a tough question.
Yep.
Otto1630 sends gifts 5 more memberships. Holy shit, did you just give 10 memberships? Or was that Emily? So Emily gifted 5 and Otto gifted 5. My God, you guys, thank you so much. I so appreciate you. At Fiona Houston 2140 sends $5. All the texts and angry messages Karen left on John's phone, those messages were from a woman that definitely thought he was alive. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
100%. Yeah. Absolutely, Fiona. I mean, that's a great point. I think I actually listened to the 4-person interview. I don't know if it was you that sent that to me, Ben. Somebody sent it to me recently. It's been out there for a while, but it was a great interview. If you haven't heard the jury 4-person from the second trial, he had a lot of interesting things to say. And one of the things that he mentioned was these. And he's like, yeah, no chance that was like a woman who just murdered her boyfriend. Like, no chance, obviously. Fiona says, good morning from Melbourne, Australia, 5 a.m. Love your work. It's worth no sleep. Oh, my God. Thank you so much, Fiona. A member for 3 months. Happy 30-month anniversary. Thanks for being here from Australia. D Florida sends $1.99. Thank you so much for your super sticker. E. Murph sends $1.99. Hey, Vince, is that the view from your office? Hey, Vince.
Well, sort of, but it's a green screen, so not technically.
That would be some fucking office. Excuse my language. E. Murph, sorry, you covet that view. Yes, you should covet that view if that was really your office. Because it would be in a very expensive office building. The views in New York City are coveted, right? They're very expensive.
True.
A friend of mine just no, I shouldn't say it. Forget it. Never mind. They're expensive. Just trust me. Okay. Any last minute words here, Vince?
This was great, though. It really is. And we have the big gala coming up. You have to tell me what color your dress is going to be because I want to get the right tuxedo bow tie for the big gala in Canton on the 19th, Juneteenth, which I know is a big holiday in the Benigno household, and you have to sacrifice and go to this gala with me. And your fiance is our protection, right? So I don't want to go there with just
we're not
us
going.
two.
We wouldn't be going without him for sure.
Yeah,
You're right. That's right. It's coming up, right? It's the 13th. Is that when it was? 13th? Wow. Everybody, thank you so much for participating, for being here. Denise, you're the greatest moderator the world has ever seen. Derek, oh my God, I am as honored. I can't even say enough good things. And what a great guy Derek is, by the way. So thank you, Derek. I will definitely post the musical, so everybody check it out as soon as you can. Vince, thanks for everything.
See you next Monday.
And we will see you next Monday. And we have to do the phone calls, you and I. It's on us because we got to actually sit down and work out the kinks still together.
We're almost there.
All right, everybody.
See you Monday.
Bye. Goodbye, everybody.
It is the defense counselor's duty to protect the rights of the individual, as it is the prosecution's duty to uphold and defend the laws of the state. Justice for all. Only we have a problem here.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright.